Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show, we got to talk about the Lamar Jackson trade rumors. I did just put out a video on the channel where I kind of outlined some of the things that Jeremy Fowler recently said, also Pro Football Talk, since they linked the silver and black to the Baltimore Ravens quarterback. I want to be very clear. I really do not think that the Raiders are going to trade for Lamar. I want to be very clear. I want Fernando Mendoza to be the next Raiders quarterback. It's why I wore this shirt. Hell, it's why I wore this shirt on the Lamar Jackson video. But people got to understand here, when there are rumors around this team, I am going to talk about them. If you don't want to listen, it's okay. I'm not going to get upset. But if you at least just want to be a part of the conversation, there's nothing wrong with being a part of the conversation. Next, I'm going to tell you why I think the Raiders are going to draft Mendoza at number 1 overall. I've watched this guy a lot over the past few months, and I am convinced he's the quarterback that the Raiders need. Then, I've had so many people ask me, well, Mitch, can we get another mock draft from you? I got my Raiders mock draft 2.0 coming up here on today's program. Also on top of that, if anybody out there wants to get themselves a Mendoza shirt, you got a few options. First option, we're going to be giving one away today. $5 super chat. You can get in for a raffle. Or if you just want to go out and get one, chatsports.com/Mendoza. That link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments on today's program. We got it in white. We got it in black. I had it overnighted, but I don't know about y'all. I think it looks pretty damn sick, especially knowing that he's the Heisman Trophy winner, knowing that he's the national champion, knowing that he's 16-0, and the effort that he gave on that 4th and 5 run, dude. Can't frickin' wait. I just saw Mendoza is our guy, and that's why I put a poll at the very top of this show asking, like, who would you rather have as a quarterback of the Raiders, Mendoza, Lamar? Even though I'm up here saying I want 1-5, I want Mendoza in silver and black, I also want to be extremely, extremely clear. If I woke up tomorrow morning and Lamar Jackson was the quarterback of the Raiders, I would be ecstatic. And I mean it. I will be excited for Mendoza. I will be excited for Lamar Jackson because to me, both of these quarterbacks tell me that we are going in the right direction. Lamar's more win now. Fernando, I think, is more winning in the future. So it's really what exactly are you trying to do as an organization? No matter what, this is a great conversation to have. No matter what, this is a great problem to have. And I'm telling you, number 1 for me, Fernando Mendoza. I would type my FM. But if you told me the other quarterback option for the Raiders is Lamar Jackson, I think you're crazy if you want Lamar to be the next Raiders quarterback. This is a great, great, great problem to have. Imagine past teams talking about Brian Hoyer, Jimmy Garoppolo, Desmond Ridder, Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell. There's nobody in that conversation even close in my book to Mendoza or Lamar Jackson. Though I am actually seeing a lot of LJs down below, which is something that I really, really like to see. Again, I want people to give their honest opinion. Don't be afraid to express yourself. If I sound a little bit weird today, not going to lie to y'all, I've had some crazy hangovers in my day on this show. Shout out to all 213,000 people that pulled up to the Raiders Report last night for the Indiana and Miami game. It was so much fun, man. I had so much fun. I got to bed probably at like 2:30. I got up at about 7:30, and I had one killer hangover. So if I sound a little bit shitty, I'm sorry. Also, Mr. J. Rizzle, I know I'm supposed to do a beer bong for you today. I'm going to have to put that one on ice because I do not need any beer whatsoever. What I do need is for you guys to get involved on today's show, and I got to show some love to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. I talk about Prize Picks all the time because just like y'all always show up and show out, Prize Picks always shows up and shows out for us, and I'm very excited to be able to announce that Prize Picks is going to be with us here on the Raiders Report for the entire 2026 year. I know that might not be a big deal to some of y'all, but it is a huge, huge deal to me and my entire Chat Sports team here. And just want to say again, shout out to all of y'all. The big game, it's almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right, Drop Top Blazer. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means your last chance to get going in football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup, Garth Rader. Do you miss fantasy football? Well, if you miss fantasy football, go get a lineup in. Now, I want to be clear. This is not my lineup that I am using this week. This is a Chat Sports lineup from one of our guys. It's a 3-pick power play. The reason why I'm showing it to you, if you answer yes to this question of, are you going to watch the NFC and AFC championship game? If the answer to that is yes, I encourage you to get a lineup in. So you can go more, you can go less, and as you can see, there's a lot of more. You know how you know this is not my lineup? I ain't going more on Devontae Adams. So if you want to go ahead and download the Prize Picks app today, make sure that you use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Let's go to the first super chat, and it's from TaBeastie1. All I got to say to you is get a pick, and thank you so much for supporting the show, showing up today on the program. Our deals, very, very simple today. Here's how we're going to do it. If you send in a $5 super chat, I'm going to give you one raffle ticket for a shot to win a Fernando Mendoza shirt.
You know what? Let's change that up.
You want to go two?
We're going to go $2.
Let's go $2? Let's do it. Let's do it. $2, you get one Mendoza raffle.
It's $2 Tuesday.
$2 Tuesday. I like that, $2 Tuesday. We might stick with it. $2 Tuesday, one Mendoza raffle ticket. Also, Chugs is back with me. How did Danny feel about the Mendoza-Indiana game last night?
She went through the roller coaster of emotions last night of so happy, thought it was in the bag, and then they didn't pick up the first down. They had to kick it. When Miami was driving, she couldn't sit down. Like, she was pacing around the house, and she let out which I could only describe it as a shriek whenever Indiana got that game-winning interception. It was incredible. I don't think the Chugs household could take two just absolutely heartbreaking losses in 2 days. So I'm really glad Indiana was able to pull through.
When you get home today, can you do me a favor? I want you to ask your wife who's a better quarterback, Fernando Mendoza or C.J. Stroud.
Oh, I think she would take Fernando Mendoza over Patrick Mahomes right now.
I mean, I think any Indiana Hoosier fan would.
Honestly, she's a Cowboys fan, but the only thing that will make her not, I think Fernando Mendoza is going to make her a legit silver and black Raiders fan. Because she said, wherever Fernando goes, that's where I'm following. I think the nation just got another fan in my wife because she is the biggest Fernando Mendoza fan out there. I promised her once he gets drafted that I'll get her a jersey, but maybe I'll just kind of cheat and get her a Fernando Mendoza Raiders t-shirt.
So you should never cheat, but if you're gonna cheat, get her a shirt.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it.
If you're gonna cheat, get her a shirt.
I don't know.
Babe, I cheated, but I got you this shirt.
Here you go. It's worth it. If you buy a Mendoza shirt today, it's chatsports.com/Mendoza. We're gonna give you a shout out again today. Bro. I get an update every single time somebody gets a shirt. So if you get one, I'll just be like, hey, shout out to Steph Valdez for getting a shirt. If you want to bang, it's $100. It's a bang if you're trying to compete in our January bang competition. And as always, if you want that opportunity to win a little bit of money, $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. I am going to do everything in my power today to give you everything that I got. But I'm telling you all this right now. I feel like I was in a boxing match with Raider Nation last night that went 10 rounds, and I got the shit kicked out of me. I don't remember a lot of the last hour of yesterday's show, but the way I woke up this morning, I knew that I was not a winner. You guys beat me. It doesn't always happen, but I woke up this morning knowing I still can't talk. Knowing that I was a big-time loser in that one. Nolan and Rob Fravor, I see you guys in there. Also, I see Angelo Biz. Angelo Biz sent me some for the shirt. So I'll just, if I can do that.
Yep.
Hang on. He sent me. If you guys can send in. Yep, there we go. Angelo Biz, I saw your $6 Venmo for your 3 raffle tickets for Mendoza. I got you. Let's go through some questions here on today's show. And if you're wondering, Mitch, what are we talking about today? A lot of quarterback rumors. I'm going to give you my mock draft. And if you didn't see the news, I literally just put out a video on the Raiders Report, the Las Vegas Raiders have completed their interview with Jesse Minter.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised to find out that Minter's interview ended up happening before Ejiro Evero. I don't know if they designed it that way, and I'm also somebody that finds it strange when I was first told the Ejiro Evero interview was going to happen on Monday, okay? Then find out that it's going to happen on Tuesday. I was under the impression the Evero interview would happen before the Minter interview. So I find that a little bit interesting. I don't want to say I'm concerned because I do think Ejiro Evero he's a good defensive coordinator. I'll be honest, I'd rather have Patrick Graham as a DC than Evero, if I'm being 100% honest with y'all. But then also, like, if they were to hire him as a head coach, I would really have to understand what the plan is for the Las Vegas Raiders because I really, truly wouldn't understand it. But the big news that literally just ended up going down was Jesse Minter completed his second interview for the Las Vegas Raiders, and I've been saying for the last 24 to 48 hours, hey, like, could the Raiders potentially hire Minter today? Keep your eyes out. Doesn't obviously look like they ended up hiring him, so the search continues. So if you're somebody out there like me, Clint Kubiak was my number one candidate, right? As much as I like the idea of Minter, I want Clint Kubiak. So if the fact that they didn't go and hire Minter, that still keeps that Kubiak dream alive. Amador, I think we copied Denver style, draft a young quarterback, build up our offense and our defense. And I think that this is a really good style to be able to copy. It's something like I said last year where if I'm the Raiders, I would have copied the way that Philadelphia built that team. In the trenches, you try to get a good ground game, and you really try to play some FU football, and that's what Denver's doing. And I love that you bring this up because the Raiders' assistant general manager is Brian Stark. Brian Stark was with Denver for a very long time. So what did Denver do? They said, we're going to build the best offensive line we possibly can. We're going to put a rookie quarterback, and we're going to try to build defense that's going to be an outstanding defense. Because when you have a great offensive line and you have a great defense, it allows your quarterback to develop the right way. That's what the Raiders should do. Amador, man, I'm with you.
Amador and everybody else, if you send in a $5, I'm going to give you 3 tickets.
Sounds
so
good.
$2 for 1 ticket, $5, I'll give you 3.
I like it. Eric M., enter me. Can't wait. Eric M., top 1%er. Stabler, Mitch, what would it take to get Bain? Oh, you mean like Ruben Bain. What would it take to get Ruben Bain if we take Mendoza number 1 overall?
Your first-round pick next year.
See, I think it might even be more than that. I honestly think if you want a player like Ruben Bain, I think Max Crosby's got to be involved. Like, again, like if you're the Raiders, the way like Houston was able to move up, they had another first-round pick. If you're Las Vegas and you're willing to give up your first-round pick next season, and then also probably like I actually think if you're the Raiders, I think for you to get Ruben Bain, you have to go all up to like pick number 2. And you don't have another pick there. So that's probably your first-round pick next year, your second-round pick this year, and a second-round pick. If like you don't want to give up all that draft capital, I think you're going to have to give up a guy like Max and a first-round pick next year to go up and get Ruben Bain. I mean, I love Bain. He is the number 1 defensive player in the draft, I think, this year. Talked about him a bunch, but this just cannot happen. I guess the only other way, again, is if you were to trade Max Crosby, because he's probably the only player on your roster right now that can get you a first-round pick that you're willing to move on from in terms of like not on a rookie contract. Bowers, I think you'd be able to get a round 1 pick. But if you traded away Crosby, you got a first-round pick in this year's draft, and then if you package that first-round pick, probably a second-round pick, you tried to really, really move up, and then you could potentially go get Ruben Bain. But it's not going to happen. Steppy Valdez, Mendoza all the way. I feel like it's Christmas time. Mendoza all the way. You know, man, like I keep watching him. People can keep doubting him. There was a few people yesterday that kept on doubting him. And I think if you're doubting Fernando Mendoza, it's because you want to doubt Fernando Mendoza. And that's kind of the only way I can say it. Every quarterback prospect is a risk. Every player that enters the draft is a risk. But if you are a hater of Fernando Mendoza, it's because you're choosing to be. And I think you want to be right. That's more important to you than actually just sitting back and appreciating one of the best stories in college football history. Kid's a winner, man. You can say whatever you want. The kid wins, and he wins a lot. Screaming Chicken, the Cuban Missile Crisis, number 15. Screaming Chicken. You know what number he is?
No.
77.
Wow. I mean, that seems fitting.
77. I know. I just saw your jersey the other day, Screaming Chicken. What up, Ajax? Lamar is Jamarcus 2.0. I've seen a lot of dumb things in my time here on this show. It's got to be up there with one of the dumbest things I've seen. What's the only comparison is they're black. Ajax. And if we're being honest here, like if you're going to throw out dumb, stupid statements, I appreciate your super chat. You get a chance to win a Fernando shirt, but the only comparison between Lamar Jackson and Jamarcus Russell is they are black. You can't give me another comparison.
They both play quarterback.
I don't even know I don't know if Jamarcus played quarterback. He said hike. That's about all he did, man.
Check the tapes.
There's no comparison, Ajax. NM1. Mitch, been watching since this channel had 3K subscribers.
Jeremy, you remind me of Adam Sandler.
I mean, that's a closer comparison. That's a closer comparison. I mean, again, dude, like, we get a lot of stuff, and I'm sorry for being such an ass, but, like, that's an asinine thing to say. Lamar's Jamarcus 2.0. Why? What about, like, what made you say, think that one, pay for it too? It's crazy to me.
That's an inside thought.
I'm so happy you've been able to build a big community. Keep it up. Let's go Raiders. You know, again, man, like, oftentimes people talk to me about this show. It's been really cool, you know, my own personal journey. Obviously, I'm very proud of how much the Raiders Report has grown because, you know, I feel like our team here has done a great job growing it. But, you know, I look out there and I see all these people that work at Chat Sports now, a lot of people trying to chase their career dream. And then I sit back and I go, man, we've built an unbelievable community here on this channel. Like, and honestly, man, it's probably one of the things that I'm the most proud of in my life. I want to be able to bring Raider Nation together. I love the nation. I think the nation is proof you don't got to be blood to be family. We say it all the time here. And, you know, there's a lot of people that make this show possible. It's not just me. It's not just Chugs. It's every single one of y'all. So when you bring this type of mentality, it does, man. It means a lot to me. So getting a message like this, it's cool. It's cool.
It's real cool.
It's real cool. Also, the Green Bay Packers just released cornerback Trevon Diggs. That didn't last very long. That did not last very long. What up, Goats? Can we please get Kubiak? He is 2 hires in 1. Minter McDaniel is the only other acceptable alternative, in my opinion. Also, draft Mendoza no matter what. No matter what. You guys watch Draft Day? Like right around the NFL draft? I always find myself wanting to watch it. If anything, I listen to the Draft Day Johnny Manziel song a little bit more. I agree with you in the idea of, like, if we're talking about what is the ultimate peak of my excitement for the next Raiders head coach, Clint Kubiak's number 1. And if you don't believe me, I put Clint Kubiak number 1 in my Pete Carroll replacements when Pete was still the head coach back in December. Clint's always been my number 1 guy because Mendoza, Genti, Bowers, that offense just makes so much sense to me with a guy like Kubiak. But I agree with you. If you bring in somebody like Minter, and if you're able to pay Mike McDaniel a significant amount of money to make him OC, if Mark Davis paying McDaniel or any of these coaches a lot of money bothers you, don't let it bother you. Like, it doesn't impact our salary cap. It has no impact whatsoever on this team. It's only money coming out of Mark Davis's pocket. And whether it's $10 million, $15 million, $20 million, again, we're talking about millions of dollars, and it's a lot of money. But to a guy like Mark Davis, he just spent $1 million yesterday on Hard Rock Stadium. Like, we're not, you know, again, man, like, it's a lot of money. To Mark Davis, $15 million is like, hey, Chugs, I need to borrow $250.
Mark Davis spends more on brunch in a year than $15 million.
I don't think that's true.
Prove me wrong.
You're right. I can't prove that. DR, enter me. Let showing Raiders. 2 spots, baby. You actually get
DR.
3.
You get 3?
DR 1957.
$2 for 1 ticket, $5 for 3.
DR, I gotta ask, why do you got 1957 in your name?
That's when he became a doctor.
Doctor 19. I'll tell you this: if that's the case, you look phenomenal.
He's a doctor.
We gotta interview DR 1957.
Cisco, if you want to send in $1 more, I'll give you a ticket. Cisco.
No, it's just that's the year my grandparents were married, and I know I've showed you guys this before, but I got a little finger tattoo, 1957. Justin, 15 for the win. We needed fresh arm and big heart. I mean, Mendoza's got those characteristics that a franchise quarterback has, and I feel like I keep saying it over and over and over again, but he might not have the biggest arm, the most athletic body. But I saw a tweet earlier today, and I was like, I feel the exact same way, and I don't remember who put it out. It's somebody who covers the Raiders.
Oh.
And they were like, imagine a 6'5", 225-pound quarterback with exceptional accuracy and unbelievable leadership characteristics 10 years ago. Like, that guy everyone's going to talk about, and I get it. In the last 10 years, we've really found a lot of quarterbacks that can run and that are mobile, this and that. But in today's day and age of NIL, quarterback development, you're seeing far and far, there's way too many guys that get to the NFL that, yeah, they're athletes, but they don't know how to play the quarterback position. Fernando Mendoza knows how to play the quarterback position. He's showing you he can get better and better and better.
I cannot wait for the cinematic, slow-mo version of that play from yesterday of him running in the touchdown. The slow-mo replay of, the on-field cameras.
I think if he runs out onto the field at Allegiant Stadium, he's just going to hover.
How many times have you listened to that? I mean, also, Fernando's so good, he literally has brought back an ABBA song from the 70s, and I think it's, getting close to, being in the top 100 of, listen to songs, top 100 songs of this month. I mean, let me know down in the comments section, and be brutally honest. How many times have you listened to Fernando by ABBA since the start of 2026? Let me know down in the comments. How many times have you listened to Fernando, that song by ABBA, since January 1st?
Probably 5 times. And it's honestly not a lot, but in the context of how many times I've listened to it in the first 32 years of my life, it's probably 5 times.
There was something in the air tonight. The room was bright. Fernando.
No, man, I hear you, and I just saw Azul. Did I see the bang last night when the show ended? Yes, I did.
Josh, it's literally my alarm clock.
I mean, I feel like after a while then, I remember when I was a kid growing up, it was right when I was able to make music my alarm, I put Drake Headlines, and Too Strong at a Compliments, and then after... Yeah, after a month, I was like, I hate this
David
song.
Campo, it's my ringtone. There was something in the air.
Azul, but yes, I did see the bang right when the show ended. Reed and I actually felt bad because when the show ends, there's a 20-second window where essentially, as soon as we end the stream, we have about 20 seconds until we can hit restart. The 20 seconds happened, 5 seconds after that. Then Mr. J. Rizzle ended up banging, and we were like, can we go back? And by that time, it was too late. The only way that we would have been able to go back live again is if we would have made brand new thumbnail, brand new, all that. And I'm telling you right now, the state that I was in last night, Reed was tired. Reed was a little bit banged up too, but you would have just now gotten the live show. It would have taken me all night.
I see people in the chat. That is one of the, it's a really good shower song to sing in the shower.
Okay. Fernando?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to learn the song. I don't know. To me, if I like a song, it's so much easier for me to memorize that song. I'm not saying I don't like it. I like the idea of the Fernando song, but I don't know. My memory is strange. I remember things that I want to remember. I don't remember things that I don't. Don't tell my wife that, though. Stabler, what's up, man? Hear me out. Trade out of number 1 with the Jets pick. Trinidad Chambliss at 2. Then trade those ones with the Cardinals for Bain. So here's the problem. I think Trinidad Chambliss is a really good quarterback. I'm not taking him at number 2. If you're telling me I got to take him at number 2, I'm not interested in that option. I love his story. He's gotten better and better and better. I'm way more impressed by his throwing ability, especially down the field, than I originally thought. The problem is, though, again, I think for what we should ask for the Jets, I don't think the Jets are going to be willing to give up on that, and I don't think Trinidad Chambliss is a quarterback you take at number 2. I don't think. Like, to me, I think then you're going to take Ruben Bain at number 2. You'd be able to get Trinidad probably in.
And
He might sneak into round 1 because there's no other
Stabler
quarterbacks.
for president didn't want to follow it up with this.
Just spitballing, Mitch. I love me some Mendoza. And Stabler, I'll say this. Like, I like when people spitball. I like when people throw out ideas. I like when people make me think. I hate to admit it, but there's sometimes, I mean, you guys see it as well, to the 1,400 people here that are in the building right now. Like, you guys see it as well. Like, sometimes we get the same questions over and over and over again. I don't always like to give the same answer. I try to give different answers from time to time. So when you throw one at me that's a little bit different, yeah, I do like it. I appreciate it. I also appreciate when you guys hit that like button. We got almost 1,500 people here right now on the program. If you haven't already, make sure you click that like button.
How about this? We got 1,400 people in here.
Yep.
We're going to go through all the super chats.
I like it.
If we can get to 700 likes, I'm going to give away 5 free tickets for the Mendoza shirt.
Ooh, Mr. Mendoza.
That just means half the people have to hit the like button. And you get possibly a free raffle ticket for the Fernando Mendoza t-shirt raffle. Seems like a pretty good deal to me, Mitch.
Sounds like a pretty darn good deal. Braxton, I just saw your $3 Venmo. I gave you a raffle entry in there. Again, if anybody wants to get in our duck race, $20 Venmo, Mitchell Renz 365 for an opportunity to win some money. Brax, Mitch, great show. Would you ever consider doing a live show with the DFW Raiders Club in Dallas for a game next year? It's such a rowdy and fun environment at Wilson's Bar in Addison. Would be lit. So that's it. I've been to Ron's place in Addison. I've never been to Wilson's Bar. Maybe that's a new spot. I've hung out with the guys from DFW a few times. I actually was in a softball. We did a softball tournament. Forget what it was for exactly, but it was down in Austin. I ended up popping my hammy. Our team ended up winning it all. But Osso Bear, he's like one of the big guys, so I'm always talking to. Osso has been super, super kind to me. When I think of like what Raider fans think of, I think of like people outside of the NFL think of a Raider fan. They think of Osso, and he's just like this gigantic dude. And you're like, if I saw that guy coming down an alley, I would not go down that alley. But then when you get to meet him, he's like literally like one of the nicest people out there. I mean, he's literally like a big old teddy bear. I'm pretty sure that's why they call him Osso Bear. But like, I would be interested to do like a meet and greet / hang out. To do an actual game, I'm going to be honest, that requires money. And it's only because of all of our equipment, all of my time that it takes to take somebody out there. And it's a really big number. And I think I scare sometimes people when I throw that number at them. I'm not going to lie. So I would say more like, I would rather us do like a meet and greet at DFW. But also, if DFW Raiders Club wanted to pull up here to the Chat Sports Studios in Dallas, Texas for a game, that's free of charge. Like, we got a big old space in here. We got enough spots in here probably to hold like 10 Raiders fans if you guys wanted to sit on the couch. I got some chairs. We got some beer pong table. Got a big old TV over here. Do a Raiders Report watch party. Got some Raider fans sitting in here. I personally think that would be a lot cooler of an experience, and it would save DFW Raiders Club a bunch of money. Let's go to Low the Boss. Let's effing go. You're all amazing. When my son was in the NICU, we watched your live for the Genty. Special moment. Glad you were part of it. Fernando is our quarterback. Bro, when I hear shit like this, it's mind-blowing to me.
Baby's middle name is Mitchell Renz.
I mean, if you tell me, like, yeah, throw a little 3-6-5 action in there. I don't know, man. Like, I'm very proud of my life. I'm very proud of the Raiders Report. I'm very proud of my job. I'm very proud of Raider Nation. But when you hear stuff like this, it's almost hard to believe. And I'm not saying I don't believe you. But again, man, like when I hear stuff like this, it kind of is it's a good pat on the back on a day today. Like I said, I woke up. I was tired. Y'all kicked my ass last night in that natty. We had a great, great time. But you get a message like this, and I mean, that's the ultimate. You're doing the right things in your life, Mitch. So shout out to you. Shout out to your family. And we might have to get something like Just Win Baby related for you. HSN. If we get Minter, what if his OC leaves a year later? It's always a risk, right? I mean, look at any coach. Like, look at right now the Lions. They're trying to replace Ben Johnson. I don't know if they did it with the right guy. See, to me, the reason why, if you're the Raiders and you got to make sure the OC doesn't leave, you got to get Mike McDaniel. And the reason why, to me, Mike McDaniel is the number one coach you got to go out and get. And the reason why he's the number one coach the Raiders should overpay. I want to be clear here. I would make Mike McDaniel the highest paid OC in the National Football League. And the reason why it's such a smart investment for the Raiders is he's an offensive-minded guy who's got head coaching experience. That's step number one. He's been able to show you that he can really work with a lot of great running backs. We got Ashton Genty. He's been able to show you that he can get Tua Tagovailoa to be a top 2 or top. I mean, they were top 1, 2 his first year there, and then I want to say they were top 5, top 10 in passing, and then Tua ended up getting hurt. The other reason is if Mike McDaniel were to get hired elsewhere, if he were to leave, he leaves you, he takes a head coaching job. If you got a candidate, again, this is part of, like, if you were to hire a minority candidate, if you hire Mike McDaniel and he gets hired as a head coach elsewhere, you get 2 third-round picks. That's, like, I think if I looked at Mark Davis right now and I said, hey, Mark, would you pay $8 million if you could guarantee me we're going to get 2 third-round picks and a coach? Like, to me, like, go pay him the money. Go pay Mike McDaniel the money, and, yeah, obviously I wouldn't want to lose him, but if you lose him, it's a lot better feeling to be able to get those 2 third-round picks. So, to me, like, that's what I would personally do. Angel, could we see a Minter hire later today, hours after his interview? Maybe. I think what's really going to hurt that whole thing of happening is Minter's scheduled to interview again with Baltimore. I don't know when that's going to happen. I've said it before that Baltimore's kind of the one team that I think if Baltimore hangs on to John Harbaugh, Minter's the Raiders head coach today. But because Minter's got so many ties to Baltimore, I think he at least wants to go hear what they have to say. And I'll be honest with you, I don't blame him. Like, I have a lot of respect for Jesse Minter and his football mind. If he were to not even listen to what the Ravens have to say, that tells me Mark threw him a shit ton of money. Which, again, I don't really care. Casa, and I want Fernando jersey, please. Hey, you got 3 tickets, man. Good luck to you. Love the picture. Love the pick. Jersey boy. Raiders want to interview Kubiak first before making a decision on head coach. They should interview McDermott as well. I wouldn't mind the McDermott interview. I want to be clear, though. Like, McDermott, to me, I would rather have Jesse Minter. I would rather have Clint Kubiak. McDermott does worry me a little bit because, yes, he's a good leader. Yes, he's a good culture setter. Are you going to blame McDermott? Are you going to blame the GM Bean over there in Buffalo? Because you have to face the facts. That Buffalo Bills roster got worse and worse and worse and worse every year he was there. You can't tell me otherwise. It did. It got worse and worse and worse and worse. They were just saved because it was Josh Allen. You know, you're talking about a guy who hasn't been able to get over the hump with Josh Allen. We don't have Josh Allen. I love Mendoza. Love Mendoza. If you told me right now I could get Josh Allen for the number 1 overall pick, I'd say take the number 1 pick, and I'd try to run out of there as quick as I could. If you told me number 1 pick and Max Crosby for Josh Allen, I would do it. Love Max. Love Fernando. Josh Allen's the best player on the planet right now. Caleb Tarr made you a Fernando Lorian image on Twitter. What does that even mean, Caleb? Did you at me? Did you at me? A Fernando Mandalorian. Oh boy, I don't see anything. I'll look for it then.
Fernando Lorian.
I'll look for it. I hate to be that guy. I do get a lot of notifications.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure you do.
I do. Nathan, can't wait to have my jersey over the Mendoza shirt at the draft. And once they call the pick, jersey coming off, rocking the shirt, get up front to get the Chat Sports shirt on TV. Yeah, I'm telling you this right now, Nathan. If I see my shirt and if I see you on television, I'm doing a boot. Like, if you get a Raiders Report shirt on national television, I'm doing a boot. Like, I say that now, but at that point, we might be in I might owe like 8 boots by that point. Nathan, seriously, I mean, the other reason why I want people to get the Mendoza shirt, it's because it's the Raiders Report. Like, I want somebody to see that shirt and be like, oh, shit,
Also,
I didn't realize you watched that show.
I will say this. Even though Raiders Report, Raider fans have showed up, they do not have the number one selling shirt in the brand new Chat Sports shop.
It's true.
Our Bears channel is beating us right now in terms of shirts sold. Are y'all going to let that happen? I'm just going to sit there and let the Bears channel dunk on you like that?
To the Bears channel's defense, their shirt is sick. Not saying ours isn't. Theirs is really, really cool. They just went on an electric playoff run. But, yeah, man, I'm a competitive guy. I'm always going to look at that type of stuff. Let's go to
JDS Dakota Treasures.
Bingo. Love you guys. Mendoza all day. If that person banged right now, we'd be in trouble. Though, the way you said it's a lot easier. JDS Dakota Treasures. All right. Now that you said it, I can see it. Before, it just looked like the alphabet. What's up, Akash? Would love Jackson, but I feel like it will cost too much in picks and money. Let's just go with Mendoza. You know, again, he's scheduled to make $74.5 million the next 2 years. And if you're the Raiders, you're not just going to pay him $74.5. I think what you honestly end up doing is you extend him 3 years. And I can understand fans being a little bit scared because it's, what did we just do? We just traded for Geno before he ever stepped foot on the field. Gave him a 2-year extension. That was a disaster. If you go out and you get Lamar, and I think if you want to offset that $74.5 million cap space, which the Raiders will want to do, you're probably going to give him a 3-year extension because if I'm Lamar, I want to be tied to something. And when I say tied to something, I really mean someone. And if you're going to tie him to someone, you tie him to Max Crosby, who's on contract until 2029. So if I'm Lamar Jackson, I got 2026, 2027, I'm looking at that organization and I'm going, hey, I want you to give me a contract extension. Maybe they give him a 2-year extension to tie 2028, 2029 with Max Crosby. But again, man, like there's risk in everything. Like there's risk in taking a quarterback number 1 overall, obviously. There's also a risk in trading for a 29-year-old quarterback in Lamar Jackson because then you're going to have to extend him. The amount of money invested in Lamar compared to the amount of money invested in Fernando, I'd say it's probably 4 to 5 times the investment on Lamar.
Oh, my gosh.
What do you got?
Yahoo Sports.
Yikes.
This is the, just landscape of college football today, is suing former quarterback Darian Mensah, who entered the transfer portal, claiming that he breached a multi-year NIL contract that ends on December 31st of 2026. The school says basically they are saying he can't leave until next season, and he's trying to go play for Miami because they're going to offer him like $8 million.
A lot of money. I mean, that's unbelievable.
But I mean, you do have to say, I mean, I'm not one to defend millionaires, billionaires, multi-million-dollar institutions, but he did sign a contract. Like these kids have to realize, you sign a contract for 2 years, you don't always get to be like, well, don't feel like it later.
And I think that's slowly turning into the big problem right now with college football to professional. I think it started when I first started covering the NFL back in 2016.
You shouldn't be allowed to sign multi-year NIL deals. It should be one year-by-year basis because this is happening. It happened with the Washington kid who wants to go play with Lane Kiffin.
I mean, the problem is you're teaching kids that me is more important than team. And I think that's where there's starting to be an issue because, again, I remember when I first started covering the NFL in 2016, it was teams had the power. Players had power, but teams had power. NIL, you're starting to see players kind of become more about me, selfish. And it's just the truth. I mean, you've seen it. We've seen it. We've all kind of seen it. And I do think it's sad, but it's the other reason why I love a guy like Mendoza. He's a team me first guy. He's not I'm going to leave this school to go get more money. I'm not saying that if he had the opportunity, you wouldn't consider it. But there is a level of selfishness right now, especially at the quarterback room and level in college football, that I think a franchise quarterback, one of the worst qualities you could have is selfish. And maybe Mensah's looking at it and going, hey, I don't know if I'm going to make it in the NFL. I want to make a bag right now. And I totally get that. But, At the same time, I do think that we are teaching kids, and again, they are kids, that you're choosing me over team. I don't know if it's always the best teaching point.
Yeah.
See, Gabe, go. Who are some free agent offensive linemen or draftable rookies you like? Chugs, can you enter me? Well,
Gabe, I'm going to enter you 3 times, actually. Enter, hold up for a second, enter.
So, Gabe, one of the videos I would encourage you to go watch is I put out a video. It's called my Raiders free agent targets video. And I mentioned the top 10 free agents that I would want the Raiders to go out and get. Again, if you look up Raiders free agent targets on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. But in that video, I mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 out of the top 10 free agents I want the Raiders to go out and get play on the offensive line. So I'll give you one name. I'll give you one name because I want you to go check it out. David Edwards, offensive guard, plays for the Buffalo Bills. Not an overly impressive guy, but because it's a big need, because I think he'd be a good fit with JPJ, I think David Edwards is a really good name. In terms of the draft, because I am team, I want the Raiders to spend money on the O-line before the draft. I haven't done a lot of homework on my offensive line draft prospects yet.
I'll say tackle, the Miami tackle, really good.
Yeah, he's a right tackle, very good.
Everybody's saying
Maui Noah.
The guard from Penn State, really good. I like in the 2nd and 3rd round the center from Indiana, actually.
Coogan?
I really like him in like the 3rd round. I think he's a good prospect. Just some names, but we'll be coming out with some more draft content in the coming weeks. Also, 140 likes away from giving away some free raffle tickets.
Let's get it. Curtis Bishop, believe me, we could make a better overall team with Mendoza. Would lose too many picks for Lamar Jackson to fill in all those positions we need. Who be DC for Minter? The DC for Minter one is a little bit of a challenge for me. Now, I will admit, I kind of have a full live show ready to rock and roll in case the Raiders hire Minter. Some of the defensive coordinators that I have written down here, and I'll go into a little bit more depth on some of these names, but I think Raheem Morris, I think Rob Leonard, Patrick Graham, maybe they try to bring him back. Jonathan Gannon, Jim Leonard is a name I'll throw out there. Al Harris, Durante Jones, Ephraim Banda, DeMarcus Covington, Wink Martindale could be an interesting name. Chris Hewitt, Chris Patridge, Steve Clinscale. Those are going to be some names I'll throw out there. I'll give you guys more information on them, but that's a lot of names, and I know I threw out a lot of names there, but I would look at certain connections. I would look at relationships, and I would look at the talent that we might be able to bring in. Cisco Martinez, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for tuning in, donating. Lovato, DC said on his pod he would love to be the head coach. Thoughts?
I bet he would.
Yeah, I mean,
of course. I mean, why would you not? For DC, you get paid, and if you're not good, leave in a year and you still get paid.
I mean, if the content side of me, Derek Carr is a head coach, I know I make a boatload of money. Selfishly, I do. Do I think Derek Carr, though? Like, this would be me being real. I love DC. Quarterback coach at the absolute most is what I would consider Derek, because, yes, Derek Carr is a great person, but also DC never won any playoff games. And DC is a great leader, but also I want my next head coach to have that killer instinct.
I think it's kind of disrespectful to the coaching profession, too. Not saying that he couldn't do it eventually, but him and Phillip Rivers being like, oh, well, I could be a head coach this year. With all these guys, like you look at a Jesse Minter, a Clint Kubiak, they've been coaching and working at this craft for 15 years. For, going on 10, 15, 20 years. Like, for them to think, oh, I can just go and be the head coach, I think it's kind of idiotic. Like, go prove yourself. Go be a college coach. Go be a high school coach. Go learn how to coach first, because being a coach and being a player are two entirely different things. If you want more proof at that, look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, the best NBA player all time behind LeBron James. And look at how he's done at owning the Bobcats and the Hornets.
Again, like I can understand Derek saying it, but I have absolutely positively like no interest in Derek Carr as head coach. Like the definition of the craziest hire the Raiders Mark Davis maybe could ever do is making Derek Carr the head coach of your football team. Like no chance.
And y'all are gonna laugh at me, but it's like
quarterback coach with Clint Kubiak. That's as real as I can get in my mind.
Like y'all are gonna laugh at me, but like that's how I feel whenever I see people in the comment section being like, "I like the Raiders. I could be Mitch's producer." I bet you couldn't.
Well, I mean, I also and again, like I'll sit up here and I'm like, "Oh, I think I know the Raiders team better than the coaches out there." That's probably a little bit of a, I don't know X's and O's. Now, I could sit up here and say, like, there's at times I really do feel like I know the team better than the Raiders do. But to offer Derek Carr to be a head coach, I think Derek is learning how the content game is starting to work. I really do. Again, though, I tip my cap to DC.
I had no idea people would be mad at me saying LeBron was better than Jordan in the chat.
Oh, Perry. Unless we get 4 firsts, 3 seconds, starter draft, Mendoza. I mean, I kind of said the exact same thing, Perry. To me, you can't look at it as how good is Fernando Mendoza. Because if you're just saying how good is Fernando Mendoza, that's not the way that you should look at that number 1 overall pick. If you're the Raiders, that number 1 overall pick is franchise quarterback. When I think of a franchise quarterback, I think of a Josh Allen. I think of a Lamar Jackson. I think of somebody like a Joe Burrow, a Patrick Mahomes. If you were to look at those teams, and if those teams were to be like, hey, what do you want for Joe Burrow? They're going to say 6 first-round picks, 7 first-round picks, right? It's just such an asinine thing that you're never going to be able to do it. If I'm the Raiders, I'm going to do the exact same thing because I believe Mendoza is a franchise quarterback. So I want a Fernando Mendoza franchise quarterback price tag. That's how I look at it.
I'm sorry, Mitch.
Anthony, Mitch, thoughts on what if we hire Avero? I would be really disappointed in our team. I would be really disappointed in our staff. And I only say that because if you go out and you hire a Jero Avero, right? Like to me, how would y'all feel if we hired Patrick Graham to be our head coach? I think Patrick Graham is a good coach. I think Carolina, with what Avero had to do this season, he did some good stuff with that defense, no doubt about it. But I also am a big believer that sometimes you got to talk to people that cover the team. You got to talk to fans. You just got to – I didn't watch every single Carolina Panthers football game, right? None of us here did. Well, maybe you did. I shouldn't say none of us did. But when you hear the way, like, the fan base, people that cover the team talk about Avero, if Carolina were to lose them, I don't know if they'd be all that upset about it. So if I'm like, all right, well, they might not be all upset about it. We're going to hire that guy to be our head coach. I would be really disappointed in John Spytek and Tom Brady, quite frankly. Now, maybe they can prove me wrong. I hope that they would prove me wrong. I would have to really see what exactly is going on in terms of who the OC and who the DC is. Like, if you told me we bring in Avero and then Mike McDaniel's going to be the offensive coordinator, I might be on board with it a little bit more. But a Jero Avero for head coach kind of seems like an organization, a baseball team where you're down a run, you're down 2 runs, you go up there, you know that you need to hit it out of the park, and you square around for a sacrifice bunt just to put the ball in play. It's not a winning move. Let's go to JDS, Dakota Treasures.
Sorry I turned the chat into a LeBron debate.
That's all right.
I had no idea. Guys, I had no idea that people were so passionate about LeBron James in this chat. That's on me. The fact that y'all don't realize he's the number 1 player of all time, I'm sorry. Go ahead with what you were saying.
JDS, get Alec Pierce for Mendoza. Minter, Javon Holland. I mean, Holland's with the New York Giants. Dre Greenlaw. Also draft some Hoosiers, baby. You will see I have at least 1 Hoosier in my mock draft.
Really?
I might have 2. I might have 2 Hoosiers in my mock draft today, which, again, what I'm going to be discussing here on today's program, we're going to get into my mock draft. I'm also going to sit back here, and we're going to talk about why I think the Raiders should end up drafting Fernando Mendoza. In terms of Alec Pierce, I don't know if there is a better wide receiver the Raiders could add to this team than Alec Pierce. I want a player that's great on back shoulder fades. I want a guy that's 6'3", 205 that can stretch the field, over 1,000 yards, 47 catches, 6 touchdowns last season. My favorite thing about him, though, he blocks. Like, if you wanted to tell me how could we hit the upgrade button on a Hunter Renfrow, Jacoby Myers, put him into one receiver and actually make him fast, that's what Alec Pierce is to me. Like, it just makes a lot of sense for this team.
Pretty high praise.
Darian, Mitch, Fernando Mendoza is definitely a Raider. Our second pick should definitely be Messidor or Motton.
Oh.
They were monsters last night. Also, what's the price for Waddle? I'm an Alec Pierce guy myself, though. Well, Darian, I know for a fact you're going to love my mock draft. You're going to love my mock draft, Darian, and shout out to you, bro. I don't know what the price tag would be on Waddle. I believe, according to sources, again, we talk to our Dolphins guy here all the time, and again, shout out to Roley. He got the Jeff Hafley higher right last week. Last year, I believe, or I say last year, it is last year, right, technically? During the NFL trade deadline, it was reported that Miami was looking for a first and a third. There ain't no way in hell I'm giving up a first and a third. Again, I think Waddle's a really, really talented wide receiver. I want to be clear on that. Super talented.
Would you give up second-round pick? Just straight up second for Waddle.
So number 36 overall for Waddle.
Give me a Y for yes, Inferno in the chat. Would you take
I would rather
Jalen Waddle for the Raiders' second-round pick? Y for yes, Inferno.
In all honesty, probably. I probably would, because you add some speed, which we definitely need some speed. I think it's a good underneath receiver there for Mendoza.
I think he's still 26 years old.
He's young. Yeah, he's young. I guess for me, the initial debate I had that went in my mind was
he's 27.
Second round pick for Waddle or $20 million just sign Alec Pierce. I picked sign Alec Pierce in free agency over trading the second for Waddle.
Even though I'm the one that brought it up, or not brought it up, I'm the one that posed the question. I will say no, only because of his injury concerns.
The injury concerns are definitely there, and he's not a blocker.
Yeah.
So, but the player that he is, I guarantee you this, there would be a team contending in the playoffs that would give up a first-round pick for him.
Yeah.
Not a high first round. Like you're talking about, again, teams that picking in the 20s. Elias, what's going on? Darren, I can't wait to show you my mock. Sounds weird. Both my dad and I are sold on Fernando. We have both had a resurgence of hope for this team and can't wait for the draft. Dude, I can't wait for the draft. You know what I also can't wait for? Can you go to the team card for our event?
Yes.
If y'all don't know, Jeremy and I, we're going to be out in San Jose, California. If anybody out there wants to hang out with us, we're going to be there Friday, February 6th from 7 to 10 p.m. Shout out to Fairway Zone Sports Bar and Lounge. When we went live for, it was 11 hours and 35 minutes when Pete Carroll was fired, we banged it out. Shout out to Raider Ron. Shout out to Lord Cameron Abbott. Shout out to everybody that was a freaking legend on that show. Venthrak, L.A. Crash Dog. I'm probably Yoda Jenkins. Again, so many people showed up and showed out. But we're going to be out in San Jose, California. If you want to call to reserve your spot, there's the phone number. Plenty of parking. It's an indoor-outdoor spot. Holds, I think it's 175 people or something like that. If you show up, no matter what, I promise you we're going to be able to meet. It is going to be something like, if you get there early and you don't want to leave, I don't think you're going to have to leave.
Me and Mitch did discuss possibly doing an in-person duck race for a certain item.
Or we could, their parking lot is long enough to do an actual race. We line everybody up out in the parking lot and we say go.
That won't get contentious at all.
There's no way anything bad could happen. No chance. But I hope to see you guys there. I heard some people, I heard one person yesterday say they're going to drive 7 hours to come to this thing. So if you live in San Jose, I hope that you show up and show out. I think we're going to fly in Thursday night, and then we're going to end up leaving on Saturday. So it's a quick turnaround. It's a quick little trip for us. I've never been to San Jose.
Never been.
I'm interested to see how y'all get down over there, but hopefully, we'll get it going.
Somebody needs to show me and Mitch a spot to get street tacos.
When are we going to do one in L.A. from Duval? I've thought about L.A. a few times. I've actually never been to Los Angeles. Well, I technically have been there at the airport, but that doesn't count to me.
Yeah.
I want to go to L.A. really bad. Maybe we could come up with another deal of, hey, if we get blank amount of bangs, Chugs and I can go out to L.A. I know there's always like Raiders parties and Raiders meetups. To be honest, I don't know if I'm always invited to everything. So I don't want to just be like, oh, I'll go, and then come to find out, like, I don't know, the people there don't want me there. You never know. And I know it sounds crazy. I shouldn't say it sounds crazy. It's like anything. Some people like me, some people don't. It is what it is when you do what we do. Let's go to Goots. I might get cooked for this take. All right. But I think Max might be injury prone. We trade him while he's still worth a lot. He hasn't had a healthy season in a while. Love Max. Don't mind him staying, too. I don't think that this is a crazy thing to say, and I kind of brought it up the other day when people were calling Lamar Jackson injury prone. If you're going to call Lamar Jackson injury prone, then you have to think Max Crosby's injury prone, because Max has missed more games than Lamar over the past few years. But I'll also say there's a difference between injury prone and getting banged up. I think you also got to consider where the Raiders have been the past few years. Like, when you have a nagging injury, like if it's up to Max is finishing out a lot of the years instead of getting the surgery and getting the cleanups. But unfortunately, because we don't play many meaningful football games in December, it's encouraged to, hey, get that cleaned up. Hey, make sure you take care of yourself. Hey, make sure you go out there and do this. Like, Max finishes out the season this year if we're in playoff contention. Max probably finishes out last year if we're in playoff contention. So, Max will play on one leg if he needs to, but I also think that this is a conversation that fans do need to be able to have. He has had multiple injuries to the knee. It keeps on popping up. And if you're a team out there, and I mean, again, if you're offered 3 first-round picks for Max Crosby, he's 29 years old. Max will always be my guy. I love the Crosby family. But nobody is above the shield. So, and again, like I think you got some balls for putting this in here. But you know what? I appreciate questions like this, statements like this. Ox the Boss, let's go. Fernando all the way. Sign me up for $2 Tuesday. If you don't know, every $2 super chat, you got a shot to win a Fernando Mendoza shirt. And if you just want one outright, chatsports.com/Mendoza.
Does it only come in black?
It doesn't only come in black. I actually say this. I kind of wanted the white one more than the black one. When I heard that they overnighted one to me, I was like, ooh, I hope it's the white one. I'm not saying I don't mind, but I did want the white one. I mean, both of them are sick, though. Both of them are super clean. Again, shout out to our team. We're going to be coming up with a lot more of these types of designs, just so you know. I think that you guys are going to see a lot of the designs we got cooking. And if there's like anything that you want to see on a shirt, don't be afraid to give us some ideas. Again, we're very new at the whole making T-shirt game. So I want to be able to give out more merchandise. I want to be able to do more stuff. But if you want that shirt right there, chatsports.com/Mendoza. That link's down in the comments right now. It's a shirt. It's under $30. What up, Ajax? Lamar and Jamarcus have difficulties reading defenses.
All right, appreciate the super chat.
What proof do you have in that, though?
I think
Lamar threw for 41 touchdowns in 2024.
That's like thinking that Jordan's better than LeBron.
Stop, dude. I think you're just trolling me. It is what it is. All I'm saying is Lamar Jackson equals sloppy seconds. Fernando Mendoza will pop cherries. That's the most suavemente super chat I think I've ever seen. Though, the text message that Taino sent me today, here, I'll show it to you. You'll appreciate it. The text message that Taino sent me today, it's no context. The shit some people send me, I'm like, what do you want me to do with that? I mean,
you dirty dog.
What?
Drew, you want Fernando Mendoza to start year 1 or get a breach?
If you draft him number 1 overall, I'm in my mind, the hard part about this question, Drew, is it really truly depends, right? If you're telling me we invest in the offensive line the way that I want and we go out and we get a good offensive coordinator, you play him in year one. You play him in year one. And that's what you do. You give me Clint Kubiak as head coach, I'm playing him in year one. If we hire somebody that I'm not crazy about, we don't get the best OC candidate, we don't build the offensive line the way that I want, then that's where that conversation comes in of a bridge quarterback. But in my mind, 95% of the things that I think of in my mind that of what I'm hoping is going to happen, 95 of those results result in Mendoza being the quarterback for the Raiders. Big look, Kubiak head coach, bro. Kubiak OC, Avero DC with Champ Doza. I just don't see Ejiro Avero leaving Carolina to come be our defensive coordinator. That's a lateral move, and that's a team that made the playoffs versus a team that didn't make the playoffs. Now, maybe they offer him a lot of money. I'm not 100% sure. I think, honestly, if Avero were to come here and be the defensive coordinator, it would have to be some sort of involvement with one of the Rams guys.
You know who
because of the crossovers with McVay.
My favorite name for the Raiders, if they hire Kubiak as head coach, a great DC, and I don't know what the situation with him in Miami is anymore, but Weaver, the Miami DC, Anthony Weaver.
He's getting a lot of love.
Jeff Hafley, a defensive guy. I don't know what that means for Anthony Weaver, but if you could get him as the Raiders DC, he's done really good with his opportunities with the Ravens, with the Miami Dolphins. All the players that he's worked with speak praises of him.
Yep.
I love Anthony Weaver.
I think another really good name to honestly throw out there, again, not everybody's built to be a head coach, but you look at a guy like Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris has always been a very well-respected DC, a defensive mind. That Atlanta Falcons defense was phenomenal this past year. I mean, there was a lot of talent over there. So if, you're the Raiders, you go get Clint Kubiak, maybe hire a Nate Shieldhouse to be your offensive coordinator. Shieldhouse comes from the tree, McVay tree. Raheem Morris was the defensive coordinator. Shula ended up taking over for Morris, and then when Morris took over for the head coaching job in Atlanta, I think there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of different coaching staffs that we could go with, which is the fun part. Scream a Chicken on Combine Day. Who is Fernando's comp? I say Tebow.
I say no.
Yeah, Scream a Chicken. I don't see the Tebow comp at all.
I hate that comp. One that I kind of like.
I have mine. I said it yesterday. There's 3 quarterbacks molded into one for me.
For me, and this isn't me. I saw somebody, I can't remember who on Twitter gave this comparison, but they said he reminds them a lot of Matt Ryan.
I don't mind. I mean, Matt Ryan was a lot better of an athlete at Boston College than what people remember. And Mendoza's a much better athlete than what people give him credit for. Mendoza's accuracy and arm talent, the more and more I've watched him, kind of reminds me a little bit of a Sam Bradford, Jared Goff, which I think is interesting. I think he's kind of got the mentality of a Kirk Cousins a little bit, which is kind of quirky. But to me, I look at, if you told me it's like Sam Bradford, Jared Goff, and Kirk Cousins all kind of molded into one quarterback, that's kind of what I see with Mendoza. Noah Peters, Mendoza, the GOAT. Brock Bowers will be unreal. Mitch, keep up the good work, man. I've never been so hopeful for a Raiders season in my life. If you're not a hopeful Raiders fan, I don't know how the hell you're a Raiders fan, but I feel that, dude. 2026 has been kind of Raider Nation. 2026 just feels, I feel like I say it every year, but it does feel different to me. And I hope so. I really, really, really hope so. Yeah, Kenny's saying J.J. McCarthy and Tim Tebow. I think if you're comparing Mendoza to J.J. McCarthy and Tim Tebow, you don't watch a lot of football. JDS, I mean, Mendoza's unbelievably accurate. McCarthy's not accurate, and Tebow definitely wasn't accurate. So excited for Mendoza. Don't need no other quarterback. Get offensive line. Pons is a stud, too, from the Hoosiers. Also, we have to meet up sometime. Hey, San Jose.
San Jose.
I'll be there. Soul Chef. Trevon Diggs released.
Yep.
We said that one a little while ago. I have no interest in Trevon Diggs. Box Skate Boys. Been here since the early Derek Carr days. Let's effing go. The OG Derek Carr days, man. First Raiders jersey I ever got. 10K subs. Derek Carr jersey. Chugs Lover. He was asking about you yesterday.
Doing good. Thanks, Chugs Lover. Appreciate that.
We find out this is Danny. She's just like at home. Ryan Campbell, just got my shirts. One of each. Fernando. Soup Daddy.
There was something in the air tonight. The moon was bright. Fernando.
If you want a Fernando Mendoza shirt, go to chatsports.com/Mendoza. Under $30, black and white, sizes from extra small to 5XL.
Let's go.
Stabler, Mitch, a friend of mine put out a meme earlier that had the Mendoza shirt and the caption read, Mendoza wins the Natty, and this is what he gets. Then he laughed. Let's go, Mendo. Are you saying like he wins the Natty and now unfortunately he's the Raiders quarterback?
I think so.
Is that the joke?
That was
I don't think it's very funny.
That was such a funny joke. I can't stop laughing.
JD, what other players would you draft from Indiana? I sent you a message on IG. You know, and I will start doing more and more homework on draft players. And I think what's always hard is every year I tell myself, Mitch, you're going to start your draft process earlier. You're going to start your free agency process earlier. But the other problem is every year the Raiders always fire their guys. So, like, for me right now, if I want to do my job the way that I feel like I want to be able to do my job, which is give you guys 110% of what's happening right now, what's happening right now is coaches. So, like, all of my attention, like I'll call it my extra attention, because if news happens, I talk about it. If rumors happens, I talk about it. If there's games going on, obviously we're live for those games. So when I'm trying to think of, like, what other content I'm going to make, a lot of that goes on head coaches, coordinators. Like, it's a lot of that where I just don't have as much time to be able to take a deep dive into some of these players. I will start doing my homework as soon as the Raiders hire their coaches. Then I start doing my free agency homework, and then I'll start, doing my draft homework. But my draft attention has been really just on, like, the top 5 or 6 prospects. And now that I know we have the number 1 overall pick, it's really just I just watch so much Mendoza stuff right now because I just want to continuously be convinced that he's the right guy. So I'm sorry that it's not the best answer, but I will talk about another Indiana player on today's show today. Real Cowboy, we need a Chat Sports Bowl game in the future. You and Chugs on the call with the drinking game, etc. Barstool did it. You guys would be 1,000 times better than that shit show. What do you mean by this? Like a football game between our Chat Sports guys?
I think it was like drinking games and like just different like challenges and stuff.
I would love to be able to host something like that, and the bigger and bigger this company gets,
yeah. I mean,
we'll be able to do more of that stuff.
If I'm being honest, and maybe I should watch more of their stuff because we're not this like there's a lot of differences between us and them. But if I'm being honest, I only listen to Pardon My Take. Like, that's the only Barstool stuff that I consume. Like, I don't really like other guys here. Like, they watch the stuff, they listen to the stuff. I'm more focused on, I'll listen to Pardon My Take just because I've listened to them since college. But besides that, like, I don't know. I don't really get like wrapped up in like watching all their like surviving Barstool and watching like all their other content. I think they do a good job.
Like, I would love to make that type of stuff here. It's just we still don't have the manpower. Like, when I tell people all the time, we don't keep any of the Venmos, we don't keep any of the super chats. Like, we really don't. And maybe once we get to a point where we're getting close to as big as what's like, again, Barstool is 100 times the size we are.
Yeah.
Again, like they're 100 times the size we are. But like, I would like to be able to do this type of stuff like in the future, like a Chat Sports Beast Games almost, where like something like that.
Have you watched any more episodes?
No, I haven't been able to.
Who on you?
I know. Jerry Gonzalez, QB is needed, but go all into protecting him, please. You got to invest in your trenches. And, again, you got to invest in your investments. Like, the investments the Raiders have already made, I look at the offensive side of the ball, and Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, soon to be Fernando Mendoza. If you're the Raiders, with the amount of money you have in salary cap, whether it's trades, whatever it is, if you don't invest in your offensive line, shame on you. We don't have the right people then calling the shots. Because I don't understand how an organization can draft a quarterback at number 1 overall, can draft a running back at number 6 overall, can draft a tight end in round 1, and still go, after the year we just had, not invest in the offensive line. If we don't invest in the O-line, I'm calling for jobs.
Fernando Mendoza's little brother entered the transfer portal today and already committed.
I saw that.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah, when I was doing my video this morning, the one when I was like chilling over there, I saw it pop up Mendoza, and I saw transfer portal, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was still like kind of like just waking up. I was like, is he like going somewhere else? And I'm like, dude, Mitch, get it together. Noah, is there any chance Mendoza doesn't declare? I don't want to say no, because I guess there's always a chance. I think the only way Fernando Mendoza doesn't declare is if Indiana offers him a contract that's larger than the 4 years that he would make at the Raiders.
He'd have to get $20 million to stay, I think. If they offered him $20 million for one season, I think he would. But also Mendoza, like the reason why his little brother transferred is because they got one of the top transfers from TCU in Josh Hoover, who I think could be a top quarterback prospect next year in the draft. He's going to be their starter next year. And I think his little brother knew that. And it kind of sucks that they couldn't just keep the Mendoza thing rolling, because I think that would have been a fun story. And obviously he's good because, in
Georgia Tech.
Like, it's a good school. They were ranked all year.
Yep. But I don't want to say no because I'm almost afraid to jinx it. But I don't think there's any way.
And whoever in the chat said Pavia's better than Mendoza, you don't know ball. Pavia.
That's an embarrassing take. That's like saying Malcolm Kuntz is better than Max Crosby. George, explain to me exactly, however, Mendoza is better than Aiden O'Connell. Draft back, build trenches, Bane #1. Explain to you exactly how Mendoza is better than Aiden O'Connell. He's got a better arm for #1. It's not close. He's more accurate already. He's way more mobile than Aiden O'Connell. I think he's already a better processor in his mind. Like, you look at that 4th down and 5 play. Think about the 4th down and 5 play. There's no way in hell Aiden O'Connell makes that play first off. And there's a lot of plays that you can look at, right? But I actually feel bad that you're wasting your time talking about AOC. Like, AOC is just not even in the realm of quarterback that Mendoza is. But think about the 4th down and 5 play. I don't know if you knew this or not. I heard an interview after the game. That 4th down and 5 play where Mendoza dove into the end zone, that was a pass play. So that was a design pass play. So when they called timeout, they brought everybody in. That was a design pass. And essentially, Cignetti gave Mendoza the realm of being like, hey, if you feel like you see something, you can always take it into your own hands. And Mendoza, when he's talking about the plays like, I'm going out there, we're hoping that they're in Tampa 2, high 2 safety look, and he's looking, he's looking around, and as soon as he called hike, he said, in that moment, I knew I could score. Like, when you have a quarterback, and again, like, I get it, he's not the fastest, he doesn't have the strongest arm, but when you have that split-second ability to make the right call, to make the right read, everybody's talented in the NFL. But when you have that split-second ability, that's what separates me for Fernando Mendoza. And he just always seems to get it done in the biggest moment. Like, 4th down and 5, we're talking 5-yard run against a extremely good Miami defense. He dropped back in the moment he saw what he saw. Like, again, imagine how much mental preparation you got to do for a quarterback to sit there and go, if I see this, I'm going. And the moment he goes, hike, he's here, he's like, he saw it, reacted, went for it, got the first down, got in the end zone.
All I'll say is
that's determination.
Indiana doesn't win a single college football game, or not college football. Indiana doesn't win a single college football playoff game if Aiden O'Connell is their starter, if you switch out him and Fernando Mendoza. I don't think so.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
They whooped Oregon and Alabama.
I don't think
I'll say this, they don't beat Ohio State in the Natty. They don't beat Penn State in Happy Valley. And they don't beat Miami last night.
No.
I think they could beat Alabama and Oregon in those games.
Mendoza's already far better than Aiden O'Connell is.
Yeah. Jeffrey, Mendoza said he would die for his team and a title, and I believe him. That's the most Raider thing I've ever heard from a player. Again, we always talk about commitment to excellence and just win, baby. The Raiders haven't lived up to that in 23-something years. Tell me how Fernando Mendoza is not the picture of commitment to excellence in your craft and just win, baby. Because that 4th down and 5 run, is I just think it's determination. And, sometimes you hear stories of mom lifting cars off of their kids because of the adrenaline. Mendoza gives me the vibe of, I'm going to do whatever it takes to find a way to get it done. And whether it's picking up a clutch first down, again, like if you're going to yell at me about stats, if they convert that third down to Elijah Surratt that he dropped, it's a bad drop by Surratt. Then on the following drive, he hits Surratt on a beautiful back shoulder, but the guy's holding his arm so he can't get it around. And then that other deep ball down the field where clearly the guy's pulling on a shoulder pad. I mean, if those 3 balls are completed, and you can hit me with the ifs all you want, but I've seen Mendoza make those throws the entire college football playoffs. If you give him just those 3 plays, that's like 250 yards, a 70% completion percentage, and 2 touchdowns. Like, think about how much different we would talk about it. Those refs last night were bad.
Also,
I loved letting them play. Dude, they were blatantly missing calls.
Also,
it was brutal.
He should have had 1 passing touchdown, but Charlie Becker.
Hard to blaze. Lots of ifs.
Charlie Becker accidentally stepped out at the 6.
Yeah.
But that would have been a passing touchdown right there. They ended up running it in because it was at the 1-yard line.
Like, the way that the Hoosiers use Becker, that's how you should use Jack Besh with Fernando Mendoza.
That white boy has some motion.
That boy's got some motion. Eric Castro, us not having a coach yet is making me nervous. I hope we don't wait for Kubiak for him to choose another team and end up with a shitty coach again like Pete. I'm going to be honest. I'm not nervous about getting a guy like Pete because Vance Joseph, to me, is going to go to Arizona. Matt Nagy's doesn't even have a job, so I'm not worried about him. The other thing is, every other coach that we've interviewed is way, way better than Pete Carroll. Like, it's just the truth. So no matter what, we're going to upgrade. So knowing that, I feel good. What scares me about Clint Kubiak is the Buffalo job. But also, I wonder if Buffalo hires Brian Daboll. Like, if I'm the Bills, I go back and I think, when's the best version? I know Allen just won MVP, but the best Bills teams that they had, Joe Brady and Brian Daboll were there. What if you could keep Joe Brady as your OC, bring Brian Daboll in as your head coach? I don't think there's anything that makes more sense for Josh Allen to be the best version of Josh Allen. Yeah, I hear your concerns, but to me, the Raiders are doing their due diligence, and there's still some good candidates out there. Mitch, do you know the way to San Jose?
We have Uber.
I mean, luckily I'm not flying the plane. So, Sanchez, come to a game in L.A. Raider Nation takes over SoFi every year. I would love to be able to go to games, but again, I do watch parties, and because I do watch parties, I won't be able to go to many games. The only way I would go to a game is if somebody, it's just me being honest, if somebody could pay me and my staff to not work that day. Because if I don't work on a Sunday, I know it might be crazy to say, but Raiders Report pays for a lot of jobs here. So if I don't do my job, other people might not be able to, pay their rent. And I'm selfishly to y'all, I'm always going to make sure my guys can pay their rent. How about a third rounder for DK? Would you want size and speed? Plus, we can handle the contract. I don't think Pittsburgh would give up DK Metcalf for a third round pick. You? I don't think so. Eric Castro, I'm pro Mendoza, but hear me out. Trade Max for 3 firsts. You're not getting 3 firsts for Max. I don't even know, based on some of the conversations I've had, I don't think you would get 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby. And it's because of a lot of the injuries that we're talking about. So, trade the number 1 for minimum 3 firsts. Go crazy in the draft and free agency. Use shit Geno for 1 more year. Get our quarterback next year tempting.
Geno doesn't want to be a Raider.
I mean, that's the other thing. Geno already, he's not going to be here. It's not we want to keep him. Geno knows that he can make more money going elsewhere. So the Geno part's got to be out of it. Geno's already deleted all things. Geno's Raiders related on his social. Had family members tell me, shit, man, 2 months ago he didn't want to be a part of this team. So Geno's gone. Geno's gone.
If we're being honest, as a Raider fan, do you want any more years of being the worst team in the NFL? You're saying you want to be the worst team in the NFL next year. Come on.
I'm with you, Chugs. To me, you don't have opportunities like the Raiders do. You have an opportunity where you got top 2 money in salary cap, 10 draft picks, and you can go get your franchise guy.
We've already played the game of let's acquire all the first-round picks and trade Khalil Mack and see what we can do with 3 first-rounders and all this cap space. It didn't work out. So why are we trying to run it back? Why are you trying to have 5 for the Raiders? They already showed you that didn't work. They drafted all busts and they sucked.
And I know that it's like you can't always think that every time you draft somebody's going to be a bust. I hear you, but I mean, imagine your plan here. Would you trade Fernando Mendoza for Cleveland Ferrell, Jonathan Abram, Alex Leatherwood, Damon Arnett, Tyree Wilson? Everything's a risk. I feel a lot more confident in me betting on a guy like Mendoza.
You got to take.
I do.
You got to take.
I feel a lot better about betting on a guy like Mendoza. Nick Sanchez, if we get Kubiak at head coach, who do we even hire OC? Or would he want to call play? I mean, Kubiak would want to call plays. I don't know who they'd want to bring in as an OC, though. This is a video that I did last week. Essentially, it took me a little bit of time, so I would like people to go check it out. I encourage people to go check it out. It's titled Las Vegas Raiders Coaching Staff Predictions in 2026. I put it out 4 days ago. It's got 30,000 views on it. Essentially, what I did was every single coach that the Raiders requested to interview, I tried to do my best job of pairing an OC and a DC, and I told you why. So if you want to see, again, like there's 14 different coaches in that video where I break down who I think that they could potentially bring in. And again, it's a lot of ifs. At this point in the season, I mean, we're in all about the ifs. John, Mendoza equals taller, faster, Peyton Manning.
Agreed.
Hope so. Hope so. Also, we did just cross 700 likes, which means we're going to give away some free raffles, 5 raffles for a Fernando Mendoza shirt. If you want this shirt,
spam 15.
Give me a 1-5.
Spam those 15
down below. What up, Haydu? If the Raiders hire Minter, what about Mack coming back to the Raiders? I love Khalil Mack, and it's kind of funny. We were talking about this the other day. If Mack were to retire, would he retire and would he be entered in the Hall of Fame as a Raider, a Bear, or a Charger? He's played 4 years on all 3 of those teams. I believe he would go down as a Raider because that's technically when he was at his best. But as much as I love Khalil, I just don't think it makes a lot of sense for a team like the Raiders to invest in a 34-ish-year-old defensive end that you're going to have to pay $20 million plus to. You go out and get Khalil Mack if you think you're a Super Bowl team. I love the silver and black. We're just not a Super Bowl caliber team. And, I think like what organizations have to do is, you got to look yourself in the mirror sometimes, right? Just like, all of us here. Sometimes you got to look yourself in the mirror and, I don't know what you look like, Haydu, but if you look like that guy right there, maybe you could get away with it, right? Like, think about who your celebrity crush is. You got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, well, oh, wait a minute, listen to this. Former Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel informed the Browns he's withdrawing from their head coaching search ahead of their scheduled in-person interview Wednesday per sources. McDaniel is still a candidate for the Ravens and Raiders head coach vacancies. He is interviewing for the Chargers offensive coordinator job today. He has multiple OC offers and could have a new home soon.
Also,
I would love Mike McDaniel. Like, to me, Mike McDaniel's head coach is a good head coach.
Also interested in the Tennessee OC job.
Would like him better as an OC. McDaniel? That would be an interesting pairing.
Former number 1 overall pick Cam Ward gets to work with his good buddy Robert Saleh.
Yeah, that's true.
I gave the tickets to Darian Natal, Ron Raspberry, Shipwreck Rick, Stephen Rockwell, and Rob Fravor.
Shout out to y'all.
Those 5.
Reminder, if you guys want to get in our duck race here, it's a $20 Venmo. Right now you have a chance to win $50 on today's program. Also, I think I already got this one, though. Who'd you say, Angelo Biz? Did you put Tuesday shirt raffle, Angelo Biz?
I have not.
Oh, I just saw it on Tuesday shirt raffle.
Oh, no, I think you added that at the top.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yep. All right, I was going to say, I just saw it.
Jeremy Cole.
What up, Jeremy? Worried about Kubiak. I live in Arizona and remember what he did to the Cardinals. Thanks for all you do. Real one for life. Expect something in the mail. When was Kubiak with the Cardinals? Am I tripping?
Let's see. Kubiak was never with the Cardinals. So you're thinking of a different Kubiak. Maybe Gary Kubiak, their dad?
I mean, Clay? Was Clay Kubiak there? I was going to say, like, I don't remember Clint Kubiak ever being in Arizona.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this one, but I'm excited to see what I got in the mail. Rebel, trading back, and we're turning into Marshall Green.
Go home.
Go home. Raider Rob, Mitch, opinion on Kyler. Love to have Mendoza and Bain. You're not going to get Mendoza and Bain, so throw that one right out the window. My thoughts on Kyler Murray are he's a really talented quarterback, but he's an awful leader, and it's been very well documented that he's a really bad leader. I mean, when you got a team that's putting into your contract that you can't play Call of Duty, and then Kyler Murray throws a fit about it, and him and his agent ask to have that contract clause removed, again, like, you're putting in those clauses for a reason. Kyler's a super talented player, but, again, he's kind of grew up in this area. Trace always jokes. The guy who covers the Saints actually had a pick six against him in flag football. So, but it's been very well documented that he's a bad leader and, like, he doesn't love football. He's just really good at it. I think if you're the Raiders, if you're going to go out and get your guy, I want a quarterback that loves football, eats it, breathes it, type of player that's willing to die for his team. That's the type of guy that I want. For us, if you take Kyler Murray over Fernando Mendoza, it's everything wrong with the Raiders. Kyler's got way more athletic ability, but I don't think he's got it up here. Franchise quarterback's got to have it up here. Real cowboy, an actual bowl game, Barstool Spar.
Yeah,
not even close.
Yeah, we're about 20 years from that.
Again, man, that's a lot of money. We don't have that type of money to sponsor a bowl game. Stabler for president. Anyone want to know why Plunkett won us 2 Super Bowls? Our O-line was the NFL's best back then. I mean, it's look at the Broncos right now. Bo Nix, to me, is not a very good quarterback. And I've earned so much respect for him, honestly, more in the last week trying to finish that game on a broken ankle. I mean, that's the definition of thugging it out. But, like, look around the NFL. Look at the, Chicago Bears got a lot further. What'd they do? Upgraded their offensive line. You look at Philadelphia Eagles the past few years. What'd they do? Upgraded their offensive line. I mean, I don't even think it's a secret. I don't think it's rocket science. You need to have a good offensive line, especially if you got a young quarterback. Enrique, let's call Buffalo about Allen. No chance. I think if you wanted Josh Allen, you got to give up every single one of your draft picks, Max Crosby, and I think it's every one of your draft picks the next 3 years, Max Crosby, and they probably still say no to you.
Yeah. Mendoza gives us 7 to 9 wins next year, hopefully.
And what I'm about to say, I hope people don't get mad at, that's an outstanding season. Like, that's what the Raiders need to do. You need to show growth. You win 7 to 9 in his first year. Well, hey, let's try to improve by 1 game the next year. Let's try to improve by 1 game to 2 games the following year. Like, that is a good plan to have. Suave, Tyler is almost certainly a giant in my opinion.
Tyler Linderbaum.
What if we have JPJ center, pick up Joel Bitonio and Jermaine Illuminor as we develop our guys? Those are options to me. I know what report you're referring to, and it's because John Harbaugh and the Giants are going to go in for Linderbaum. But also, the Raiders, I'm not saying they're 100% going to do it. Based on, again, in my mind, based on what I've been told, I was told the Raiders would make the trenches a priority. If the Raiders are going to make the trenches a priority, I really think you got to consider Tyler Linderbaum. And Linderbaum's a Baltimore guy. I know the Raiders are interested in Minter. There's some connections there. So just because the Giants won him, here's the cool part about the Raiders. If you want a free agent, you got way more money than the New York Giants. If you want him, you can have him. And if I'm Las Vegas, I would be so disappointed if I see like Linderbaum signs a deal with the Giants for $19 million a year, $20 million a year. I would offer Tyler Linderbaum up to $25 million a year, which is an insane contract for a center. But he's an outstanding run blocker. You put an outstanding run blocker next to another outstanding run blocker in JPJ with a running back like Ashton Genty. Again, you're overpaying at the center position, but you're not overpaying from what your overall team investment is. Getting the most out of Genty, getting the most out of Bowers, helping your young quarterback in Fernando Mendoza. If I got to pay that extra $5 million a year to invest in those three guys, it's such an easy investment that the Raiders don't do a lot of times because Mark or whoever, they're pinching pennies. You're pinching pennies, but you're losing millions. Raider Mitch, saying it now, McDaniel is our guy. Breaking news. I hope so, man. I really would love the opportunity to have Mike McDaniel as our OC. But again, man, if you told me Mike McDaniel is our head coach, I don't even think that would be a bad idea. Because I think the way Mike McDaniel works, his quirkiness, his high-level computer brain, fits extremely well with Fernando Mendoza. You can't tell me it doesn't. Michael Clark, what's going on, man? I'm so sorry. I don't understand these Raider fans who want to trade our number one pick. I say draft Mendoza, pick up free agent, elite offensive, defensive lineman, players through the draft. Same with safety and linebackers. Find journeyman quarterback to help Mendoza. You have to add another QB this offseason. You only have Aiden O'Connell, who's going to be under contract. But, Michael, I'm with you, man. And, again, R.I.P. to Lucky. Stephen Rockwell, Jesse Minter as head coach. Josh McCown as our OC is interesting. I agree with that. I definitely think it's interesting. I think McCown is quarterback coach, up-and-coming guy with Minnesota. Has done a lot of good things with a lot of quarterbacks there. I think just J.J. McCarthy's just not that very good, which I've said from the very, very jump here. But McCown would be extremely interesting. I'm not going to lie to you. But I believe if the Raiders go out and get a guy like Minter, to me, they're looking at Shieldhouse and Davis Webb to be the OC. What up, Cass? I would take Lamar over Mendoza, depending on what we give up. It's an established player versus the unknown. And we can escape with the mediocre line with Lamar Jackson, but I can't say the same for Mendoza. Any good free agent defensive tackles and defensive ends. I actually think the defensive line market is pretty weak this year. I would say by far the top defensive lineman on the open market is John Franklin Myers from Denver. He was somebody that I talked about in my Raiders free agent targets video that I did last week. But outside of that, I mean, I'm trying to think of who else I put in that video. I mean, Devin Lloyd is a linebacker. I would say your top two defensive linemen that I target in my top free agents video, Odafe Owe, edge, outside linebacker. He played for the Chargers this past year and would be a Minter guy. And then I would go John Franklin Myers, defensive tackle. But there's really not
other guys as edge rushers would be.
I think the draft is where you go.
Trey Hendrickson with the Bengals. Kwity Paye, defensive end for the Colts.
Michigan ties. That could be an interesting one.
Joseph Osai.
He played at Texas.
Arden Key. Draymond Jones.
Caleb Jason. He should be somebody.
Caleb Jason. In terms of interior guys, let me see. Hold on.
It's really John Franklin Myers.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of good names.
John Franklin Myers. Jalen Phillips is a defensive end that's available, but I imagine that he'll be re-signing with the Eagles. He really likes it there. Sheldon Rankins with the Texans was really good, but he's turning 32. Cam Jordan with the Saints, but he's old. He's now 36. Deshaun Hand with the Chargers wasn't bad.
And Cass, I agree with a lot of the things that you're saying here because, again, if the Raiders tell me that they're going to go with Lamar Jackson, I'm not upset about it. And I want to be clear on that. I would pick Mendoza, but I also would not be upset with Lamar. And I think you're crazy for anybody out there to be upset with Lamar Jackson. He's unbelievable, right? But it's the timeline. Lamar at 29, we're where we are right now. I don't think Lamar Jackson at 29 makes us an instant Super Bowl caliber team. And I'm not saying Mendoza does either, but to me, Mendoza on a rookie contract, maybe we could get there in 3 to 4 years. Where I think Lamar, the window's kind of right now, and every year that happens, Like, I think Lamar's got another, 5 really good years. Can we get in that Super Bowl window here in the next 5 years? Maybe. But I would be ecstatic if Lamar Jackson was the Raiders quarterback. Raider OG, we are making a mistake by not hiring Mike already. I don't like the Seahawks OC. You don't like Clint Kubiak? I mean, that's fine. So you're saying we're making a mistake by not hiring Mike McDaniel already? That's an interesting thought. I think Mike McDaniel would fit this offense really well. And if you want an offensive-minded coach, I like Mike McDaniel more than I like Joe Brady, personally. But that's because I think he fits with what we have better. Raider Mitch, follow-up from my last. McDaniel sober since 2016. Max sober since 2020. Bring back Waller, who lives in Vegas. McDaniel guy, sober since 2017. I see the pattern, been sober myself since 2009. I don't think they're going to bring back Darren Waller because he's been sober. It's an amazing accomplishment. I'm not trying to take away from that. Where I do think the Raiders should think about doing is, I think the NFL a lot of times is a copycat league. And look at the offense that the Rams run. And the Raiders are clearly interested in what the Rams are doing offensively because you brought in Mike LaFleur. You got Shieldhouse here. You got certain options, no doubt about it. But also at the exact same time, I think that the Raiders should implement a 3 tight end system. Like you should be able to work with 3 tight ends a little bit more. Get Bowers on the field, get Michael Mayer on the field. Maybe you get another guy out there. The problem is Waller needs to be a blocker. He's not really a blocker in that situation. I think if you're the Raiders, you should add a blocker. Waller's no doubt talented. He just can never stay healthy. Robert, there was a time in the NFL that rookie quarterback sat for a year or two behind a veteran, learned and adjusted to the speed of the NFL game. However, these days fans want instant gratification from rookies. You're right. There was a time, but every situation is different. If the Raiders don't upgrade their offensive line, I think it's going to be smarter for them to let Mendoza work a little bit. Pittsburgh Steelers, we have completed an in-person interview with Brian Flores. That one just got done. Michael Clark, best available free agent linebackers. Devin Lloyd, to me, is number 1, and it's not close. And then outside of that, there's a few other names to sprinkle in there, but Devin Lloyd's by far number 1. Mario Messidor with the second. Elite edge rusher. I don't know if he's going to be available in the second round. If he's there at 36, though, I think that would be a hard pick to pass up. We got one more super chat coming in here from Nico, and then I want to get into my very first segment here on the Raiders Report. I got to try to be out of here today by 5:30 my time, so that's about 50 minutes from now. I know we're kind of cutting it close, and I actually didn't realize what time it was. So I'm not going to rush y'all. I don't want to mean it like that. It's just I was really late last night. Alex got invited to do an event. Not invited to do an event, but got invited to an event here in Dallas. She's really excited about it, and I told her the only way I wouldn't be able to make it is if the Raiders hired a head coach. So that event starts, I want to say at like 6:30 my time, so I got to try to run home, get showered, get cleaned up. But I got to try to be out of here in the hour. Fair enough? CJ Stroud opening a bakery. Fresh turnovers are the special. Told you, Chugs. Throat Goat Mills should have been the guy to save us from the Pats and Broncos. Yeah, I mean, that was a tough game from CJ. Yep, it was a tough game from CJ. Though, before we do, Cast Joey Bang! What's going on? Though, let's be nice. I didn't realize what it said. Anybody saying Lamar isn't worthy of a trade, depends what we give up, was dropped on their head many times. People fall in love with their college prospects too quick and think every draft selection is a future Hall of Famer. I appreciate the Super Chat Cast. I don't really want to show it because you're kind of ripping on someone. At the same time, I do think people are crazy for not wanting Lamar Jackson. And I mean that. Like, I think people are crazy for not wanting Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying that I would take Lamar over Mendoza. I would take Lamar, and I think he's a good quarterback. I also would take Mendoza as my quarterback. To me, if you're the Raiders, those are your two options. Mendoza at number 1 overall, Lamar if you go out and trade for him, but you better have another plan. But I agree. I think you're crazy as a Raiders fan. The quarterbacks we've had to deal with. If Lamar was our quarterback for the silver and black, if people were upset about that, I can't wrap my mind around being upset about it. You can be upset about them trading for Lamar and then not putting a good plan together after everything after that. But Lamar at QB, Mendoza at QB, that's a win. It's just what is everything else that ends up happening around that situation. For me personally. Off subject, wife and I went to Assembly Hall for the watch party. Absolutely insane. Hoosiers packed. I can't imagine, dude. I went to when I was in Germany one time. It was either during the World Cup, Euro Cup. I don't remember which one. But we went to this arena to watch like one of the soccer games. And the soccer game that we went to go watch was the game many, many years ago. It was when Germany beat Brazil 7-1. I'll never forget it. Because I remember, like, I was heckling all my buddies, my girlfriend at the time, because I was like, oh, Brazil's going to beat Germany. I was rooting for Germany. And then Germany won 7-1. And it was insane. It was insanity. It was crazy. It was crazy. World Cup? Yeah, I mean, I remember going to watching that at, like, an arena. Unbelievable. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk here why I think the Raiders are going to draft Mendoza number 1 overall. Then we're going to get into our Raiders mock draft. If you don't already know, I am doing a duck race today. $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365 gets you in. Did I go to the game? No, but I used to live in Germany. So I lived in Germany for a whole year. Crazy, I know. 2015, 2016. Lived in Deutschland. All right, you ready? Y'all ready for this? I hope so, because no matter what, ready or not, here I come. Giggity. If you want to get your hands on a Fernando Mendoza shirt that looks like this or that looks like this, go to chatsports.com/Mendoza. I think 1-5 is a Raider. And if you bleed silver and black, I don't know how you don't look at Mendoza and think that guy is the definition of commitment to excellence. And that 4th and 5 run for a touchdown is the definition of doing whatever it takes to win. Sounds like just win, baby. I want Mendoza to be our quarterback. And if you do too, go get yourself a shirt. Chatsports.com/Mendoza. It's available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. Coming up today here on the Raiders Report, this is why the Las Vegas Raiders are going to select Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall in the 2026 NFL Draft. If you don't know who I am, my name is Mitchell Renz. I'm the host of the Raiders Report, and if you find yourself looking for free videos every single day around the silver and black, make sure you click that subscribe button. Now, watching the Natty was an electric football game. Indiana was able to get the win 27-21 in essentially a road game at Hard Rock Stadium against the Miami Hurricanes. Some people are going to hit me with, well, Mitch, he was only 16-27, 168 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. If you're going to be a box score mungler, I don't even know if that's a word, then shame on you. And I say that simply because watching the game, Mendoza was so much better than what the stat sheet shows. I freaking love that picture because that is the definition of I will not be denied. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the win for my team. When Mendoza said, I would die for my teammates, I believe him. And I think a lot of people out there also believe him because when you have the determination to not be denied and literally always doing everything in your power to find a way to win, that's why I love Fernando Mendoza. But you know what? Mark Davis was in attendance. He was looking. He was watching. And I saw a lot of different photos. I saw a lot of different videos of Mark Davis. His eyes were on Mendoza. And you know what? It's where it should have been. Not on anything else. Not anything else. I saw something about some porn star. That's not true. But Mark Davis had his eyes on Fernando Mendoza. And if you have him the number 1 overall pick, and if you're the owner of a football franchise, Yeah, you're damn right you better be in attendance for that freaking football game. Because at the end of the day, you got to make sure all your I's are dotted, all your T's are crossed, if that's going to be your pick for number 1 overall. Not only was Davis in attendance at Hard Rock Stadium, Tom Brady, John Spytek were also at the game. It was reported that there were other head coach candidates at this game. I'll be honest, I do not know who those candidates were. I do know that also other Raiders minority owner, Egon Durbin, was also in attendance. So that tells me you got multiple owners of the Raiders. Brady, Durbin, Mark Davis. Multiple owners of the team. Then you got your general manager, John Spytek. So the top 2 guys that are making football decisions for you and owners are there in the building to have their eyes on Mendoza. Mark is a big guy in terms of he wants to be sold on making the right choice. If you've watched Fernando Mendoza play this season, and especially if you've watched him in the college football playoffs, I don't know how you don't watch him and go, that guy's a franchise quarterback. And I really, really, truly feel that, man. I hope you all hit that subscribe button. Join the Raiders Report family here. We put out content every single day. I promise you, you will become a smarter Raiders fan. We got the best Raiders community on all of YouTube. Over 213,000 people here that are always screaming their heads off. Subscribe right now. If you don't like the show after a week, unsubscribe. But there's a reason why we're the number 1 Raiders show on the planet. It's because we have the best community out there, and I promise you, you will learn a thing or two. You will become a smarter Raider fan. So here's why I believe the Las Vegas Raiders are going to draft number 15, Fernando Mendoza. We need a quarterback, right? We obviously need a quarterback. Geno Smith, he's going to be gone. He's already deleted all things on his social media, Raiders related, and he knows that if he goes elsewhere, he's going to be able to make more money. That's what Geno Smith cares about. Kenny Pickett also is going to be a free agent. Mendoza's clearly the quarterback 1 in the draft. I think he might be the only quarterback that goes in round 1. Not only that, we do need a QB. Yes, there's been some Lamar Jackson rumors out there. If you didn't see the video that I put out earlier, please go check it out. But if you don't want to trade for Lamar Jackson, and if you don't want to draft Fernando Mendoza at number 1 overall, who the hell is going to play quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders? Don't hit me with an Aiden O'Connell. Don't hit me with any, you have to be able to figure out your quarterback situation. And the fact that AOC is the only QB on our roster, once that new league year starts on March 11th, you need to ensure yourself that you got your starter. And Fernando Mendoza can be your day 1 starter. Let's go to the next reason here. Why I think Mendoza is going to be that guy. If you're the Raiders, I think the definition of doing the same thing over and over and over, it's insanity. And when you look at how the Silver and Black have handled their quarterback situation, if you're going to look at me and you're going to tell me that we're going to do something like we did before, I think you're crazy. What do I mean by that? We haven't drafted a quarterback in round 1 since Jamarcus Russell. And I get the Jamarcus Russell draft pick. Could have had Megatron. It still burns people. But, let's be honest with ourselves. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, in common with Fernando Mendoza and Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell was a fat, lazy piece of shit. He was. Got his money, got fat, got lazy, doesn't give a flying flip about anybody. Now you got Mendoza. He is all about his teammates. He's all about doing what's right. He's about what being a franchise quarterback is about. But also all the journeyman quarterbacks that we've brought in, from Gardner Minshew to Geno Smith to Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, when you're bringing in journeyman quarterbacks, those guys need to work. And Mark keeps on paying boatloads of money on wasted guys. I mean, they're paying $25 million for Jimmy. They're going to be paying, Geno Smith wasted money. Mark's tired of wasting his money on quarterbacks. The best investment you can do is investing in that young guy. And rebuilding with a young rookie quarterback means that you can fill all those other spots that you have on this team, on the offense, defense, special teams. It makes the most sense for this current team. Fernando Mendoza makes the most sense with our current roster. And you got to be able to be willing to try something new if you're the Raiders. Coming up here next, maybe my favorite reason why I believe Mendoza is going to end up being a Las Vegas Raider. Here's one of the reasons, though, why I got my favorite fantasy sports app out there. Prize Picks. It's easy, it's exciting, and it's now available in all 50 states. And guess what? The big game, it's here. And Prize Picks, there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season out the right way with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. On Prize Picks, how you play is up to you. And if you want flexibility, choose a flex play where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play. No matter your play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. It's simple. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. And if you get your picks right, you can cash in. Prize Picks, they put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks accepts most major payment methods, making deposits into your account quick and easy this sports season. Download the Prize Picks app today. Make sure that you use code CLNS to be able to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Maybe my favorite reason about Mendoza. He is a leader of men. The number one reason why I knew for a fact the moment when the Raiders hired Josh McDaniels that it was never going to work, because he wasn't a leader of men. When you have a quarterback, it's so important for that guy to be a leader. And I think when you look at the 2025 Raiders with Pete Carroll, Geno Smith was a captain. When your captain is Geno Smith, that's what the 2025 Raiders were. They had no leadership. When you have no leadership, you look like the worst team in the National Football League. When you have a leader who leads by example every single day, on and off the field, you look like the Indiana Hoosiers. And the Indiana Hoosiers did not have the most talent. They were the best team. But when you have the guy that's at that very, very top, who helped turn an Indiana program, arguably one of the worst programs in D1 college football, and in 2 seasons, they go from being bad to being national champion 16-0. I want a leader at the quarterback. I want a franchise quarterback that makes every single person around him better. I've said it 100 times in the last week, 2 weeks. You can point at a quarterback and go, Anthony Richardson's got more athletic ability than Fernando Mendoza. You're absolutely right. Justin Herbert's got a bigger arm than Fernando Mendoza. You're absolutely right. Trevor Lawrence has got better legs, can run better than Fernando Mendoza. No doubt about it. But when did a 6'5", 225-pound quarterback that's got all these leadership intangibles, that's clearly got it up here, when did that turn into a bad thing? I want a guy that shows up in the biggest situation and goes out there and wins football games. And that's what Mendoza is. He is a winner. You could tell me all you want about how talented some of these guys are, but I want a quarterback that's a leader of men and is a winner. And when you talk about a franchise guy, he's got to make everybody else around him better. And when you're poking holes in his game, you can poke certain holes in the game like anybody can. But you can't poke holes in the fact that this guy just wins. 16-0. They just beat the Hurricanes, essentially on the road in Hard Rock Stadium, 27-21. Shows up in the biggest moments, 4th down and 5. They go to him. Like, when you need a play, like, think about the end of that game. Think about the end of the game. On the biggest situations, they got it done. And when they needed it to get it done, he was able to do it. To me, winning is contagious. And when you have somebody like Mendoza, it helps that Raiders team. I don't want to just say Tom Brady because he's with us, but the reason why the New England Patriots were so good for all those years is because everybody believed in Tom Brady at every single moment. When you look at that Indiana team, they believe in Fernando Mendoza because they think he's going to be able to get it done. And in the college football playoffs, he had a 74% completion percentage, 9 total touchdowns, 8 passing, 1 rushing, 0 turnovers. I don't care what the passing yards look like because he managed the football game. Sometimes you got to do your job in managing a game to the best of your ability, but he might not be as athletically gifted as an Anthony Richardson, as a Justin Herbert, as a Trevor Lawrence. But if that game is on the line, I'll take Fernando Mendoza, ice in my veins, over all of those more talented quarterbacks. Because, yeah, they might be talented from the athletic standpoint, but you can't tell me they're more gifted than Mendoza up here. Franchise quarterbacks needed up here. Ask Tom Brady, ask Peyton Manning, ask all those guys that are just absolute field generals. He's unbelievable. He won the Heisman. He won the Natty. Do you know the last quarterback to win the Heisman and a Natty? Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's not the most athletic guy. Joe Burrow, though, is an absolute assassin out there on the field when he's healthy. Let's go to the final reason here why I believe Mendoza's going to be the pick for the Raiders. Head coach security. You got to talk about it. The Raiders have had 6 different head coaches since 2021, and that's crazy to me, right? And if I'm the next Raiders head coach, I go out and I draft Mendoza because that tells me you're keeping me for 2 to 3 years. I think it's probably closer to 3 years. When you look at all the contracts that have happened this cycle, every coach is getting a 5-year deal. And I believe whoever the Raiders decide to hire as their head coach is going to get a 5-year deal. Maybe it's a 4-year deal because they tie him with John Spytek. But for a team that has fired more coaches than anybody, you want to be able to recruit that next guy. If I'm that coach and I know if I draft Mendoza at number 1 overall, I believe I have job security. Brady and Spytek want their new head coach to build with Mendoza, with Genty, with Bowers. And depending on who that guy is that you bring in, Mendoza might be the best security that you can offer. I get it. We've been a really bad team for a long time. But this year's already seems different to me, and I don't know the last time we've had over $100 million in salary cap. I don't know the last time we had 10 draft picks. I don't know the last time we had the number 1 pick. I don't know when we had all of that together in one off season. And because we have a very attractive job with a young quarterback that clearly cares so much about winning, you pair a Mendoza with his football icon and Tom Brady, I believe good things can happen for Las Vegas. Coming up, though, I got one more reason. You know what? F it. One more reason why I believe Mendoza is going to be a Raider. I'm going to tell you what that reason is here in a moment. But if anybody out there wants to hang out with Jeremy Chuggs and I need you to put this in your calendar. And I want you to put it right now. February 6th, Friday, 7 to 10 p.m. I'm going to be in San Jose. I've never been in San Jose. I don't know how people in San Jose get down. But if you're a Raiders fan and you want to have some beers, you want to come hang out with Jeremy and I, the spot is called Fairway Zone Sports Bar and Lounge. You can call to reserve your spot. The phone number is right there. If the line's busy or if they're like, hey, we're full, I hope that you guys still show up. There's an indoor, there's an outdoor area, there's a giant parking lot. I promise you this, if you show up to that event between 7 and 10 o'clock, I promise you we can meet. I can't promise everybody's going to be able to get in, but I do know this. If you get there early, you got a better shot at getting in. And if you're still hanging out at 10 o'clock, if people are still down to hang, I'm going to be down to hang as well. 7 to 10, could be into 11. I might even be able to get convinced to go into 12. If PG 28-6 there, don't take a shot from that guy. No, I'm just kidding. PG, it's all up. Hope to see you guys at our Raiders Report meetup. My bonus reason why I would want the Raiders to go out and get Mendoza, I think that you can put him in a situation to succeed in year 1. Yes, it depends who we hire as a head coach. Yes, it depends who we hire as an offensive coordinator. You have to say it. But with the 10 draft picks, with over the $100 million in salary cap space, you can build that offensive line. If you build that offensive line, you have a ground game with Ashton Genty, 2 really good, young, talented tight ends. I don't think it's all that out of the realm of a possibility to see a successful Mendoza. Yes, you want to be able to build a defense. Yeah, you need to have some other parts into the mix. But pairing Mendoza with a guy like Genty, a guy like Bowers, that's 3 cornerstone players on rookie contracts that I think all have that silent assassin mentality that do the right things on and off the field. That's synergy, and the Raiders need some synergy. And reminder, y'all, if you want that Mendoza shirt, go to chatsports.com/Mendoza, whether you want it in white, whether you want it in black. I got the hook up here, and I want people to be able to get these for 2 reasons. 1, I really do think Mendoza is going to be the quarterback of the Raiders. 2, I want more and more people to get the name of the Raiders Report out there. I want to continue to grow this family. I want to continue to grow this team. And I want to continue to grow this Raiders Report community a way that even Fernando Mendoza would be proud of, a way that Kurt Signetti would be proud of, a way that everybody here that rocks with the nation would be proud of. But you need a guy that can lead. And Fernando Mendoza is the definition of just win, baby, and commitment to excellence. Let's get back to that with 1-5. Who's the best head coach in the NFL? Let me know.
That's not what it asked.
What is it? What's the best head coach job? Oh, man, I can't read. Can't read. So what we got coming up here on the show, we're going to get into a little Tuna's Top 5 action. Little Tuna's Top 5 action here on the show. Shout out to the 1,400 people here in the building. If you're wondering, we already talked about Lamar Jackson earlier today. What? Me?
Nothing.
We already talked about Lamar Jackson today. If there's any more questions around him, please let me know. We will still answer some super chats that we got to get to. We're going to be giving away a Fernando Mendoza shirt today. If you want a chance to win this bad boy, $2 super chat gets you a raffle ticket. If you want a chance to win some money, $20 Venmo, Mitchell Renz 365. And I just looked. I see my guy, 93 Nav. Gotcha. And then Philip Bogert. I got you. 20 to win, $70 here on the program. What's the best head coach job in the NFL? Opening. That's got to be clear. What's the best head coach opening right now? There's the Bills, there's the Ravens, there's the Raiders, there's
and I realized that I messed up my Tuna's top 5, but it's okay. It's okay. I changed it up. We're doing a Tuna's top 4.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what you're doing though. You're going to have to explain it to me.
Look at the bottom.
Best head coach hires so far? Oh, okay. That's interesting. So out of everybody that has accepted a job.
4.
Okay. Interesting.
That's why it's my Tuna's top 4.
I got you. All right, let's roll. Let's see what you got.
So, my Tuna's top 4 is going to be the best head coach hires so far. There's been 4 of them. I'm going to rank them 4 all the way down to 1. Let me know if y'all agree with me. Jeff Hafley at number 4 with the Miami Dolphins. I think he's a good defensive coach.
Yep.
I think he's a good coach.
Is he better than Mike McDaniel?
Yeah, and I just don't see the direction, right? Like, the defense, I don't know if that was necessarily the full problem. You still, like, is he rolling with Tua? Like, is he going with Quinn? You already benched your start. Like, I feel like that was Jeff Hafley being like, I can get a head coach job. But honestly, I think the Dolphins, maybe worse than the Cardinals, were the worst head coach job opening available.
I think they went with Hafley because of the GM hire, John Eric Sullivan. So there was the connection there between him and Hafley. All right, what do you got from your number
3? Kevin Stefanski with the Atlanta Falcons. Kind of the same thing. I just don't like head coaching openings where you don't know who the quarterback's going to be. That's why I think the Raiders is such an attractive option, because at the very least, we have a guy in Fernando Mendoza that we can draft number 1, or possibly a Lamar Jackson trade. We don't that's a big speculation by Mike Florio. But I just don't know about the fit there. I think Kevin Stefanski has done a great job with his time in Cleveland. I'm interested to see what he can do with either Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix. It should be also they're in a bad division, the NFC South. The winner was 8-9, and the Falcons were 8-9 this year. They lost on a tiebreaker technicality. So I'm interested to see what Stefanski can do, but I don't have a ton of faith in him moving forward.
Okay.
This one I thought was a really good hire.
I agree.
Robert Saleh with the Tennessee Titans. And I said it earlier when we were talking about Mike McDaniel. That might be an interesting pairing with his old buddy Robert Saleh, which actually they worked together twice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew this. Once with the 49ers. Do you know where else they worked together?
Cleveland. No, that was McDaniel and somebody else. So, the 49ers and
the Houston Texans. They were both interns and assistants
early.
06 to 08 with the Houston Texans. So they go way back, Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel. And if McDaniel doesn't like any of the head coaching jobs, which it sounds like he doesn't love which I don't know if the Raiders would be interested in him being a head coach or an OC. If he's like, you know what, I'll take my chances at being an OC. If he likes Cam Ward, I think McDaniel and Saleh together, that is a scary combination in Tennessee if they're able to get both those guys in the building. And Robert Saleh, he reminds me a lot, and you said this during your head coach tracker and head coach candidates video. He reminds me a ton of DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah.
I think Robert Saleh is a good hire there. But number one, I think it's John Harbaugh with the Giants.
Yeah, I was actually surprised Saleh took that Titans job. Like I felt like it was like you're out of their league. I thought Tennessee was the worst job available.
See, I like Cam Ward.
I love Cam Ward.
I think you need to get weapons. And the only thing that
gotta build a line.
Their O-line isn't.
It's awful.
They have pieces though. They're very young. They're a very young O-line. J.C. Latham, Peter Skoronski is really good at left guard. Who did they have at right tackle?
I mean, Cam Ward got sacked more than anybody in the NFL last year, even more so than Geno. But
that's what I'm saying. They're really young.
See, they have good pieces with Jeffrey Simmons, one of the best DTs, and Cam. Like I get those two guys.
What really effed them was they went out and signed Dan Moore Jr. from the Steelers. They gave him a contract that made no sense after the Steelers were like, we don't want this guy. And they went out and paid him big money at left tackle. He's not a premier left tackle. He's a average to below average starting left tackle. I like Cam Ward. And if they can get some pieces, I think that's an interesting position. And like you said, you maybe have the best interior defensive lineman in Jeffrey Simmons.
By the way, I need to go get some water. Is that all right if I go grab water real quick?
Yeah.
I got a mock draft coming up here, y'all, in just a moment. Shout out to Chugs' Tuna's top 4.
Tuna's top
4. Tuna's top 4.
All right. I'm going to roll through some super chats while Mitch is gone, and then we'll go ahead and get into our final segment on today's program. O'Neal, which actually, hold on one second. Let me make sure that I get everybody in the Mendoza shirt raffle as well. I want to make sure everybody has a chance to get their Mendoza shirt today. Reminder, it's $2 Tuesday, so $2 for a raffle ticket. If you send in a $5 super chat, I'm going to give you $3, or I'm going to give you 3 raffle tickets if you send in a $5 super chat. But every $2 super chat, you get a raffle ticket. So let me just make sure. I'm going to make sure everybody gets their raffle tickets in. We're going to spin a wheel at the end of today's show. All right. Hold on. Coach Corbel. And then Frank. All right. O'Neal. McDaniel just removed his name for the Browns head coach job. Is something brewing? I think it is. I think possibly he could be looking, and another reason which, I get a lot of hate for this. McDaniel probably looked at that job and said, do I want to tie my head coaching career to Shedeur Sanders? I don't think he did. Obviously, he didn't because he just pulled his name out of the job. John Rodriguez, I'll take Chase on over Mac. And I'll say this. Me and Mitch, whenever he got signed by the Patriots this offseason, were like, holy steal. He signed a $3 million deal with the Patriots. That's not happening again. Like, Azul, what if I bought a shirt? Here, I'll give you a couple more raffle tickets for that, Azul. I believe you. I'll double check with our sales team to see if you bought them. But if you did, I'll give you a couple raffle tickets, Azul. Maybe you can get another one. But yeah, I was really surprised that they let Chason walk for nothing, and the Patriots were able to sign him for nothing. Bring back Spillane and Chason. I think Spillane's I think he signed a 3-year deal with the Patriots, so he's there for 2 more seasons. 1 more season at least before they can probably get out of that deal. But I don't think the Patriots want to because he was good this year for him.
He's a team captain.
Yeah, he was good.
Corbs draft a quarterback to get a 4-year rookie contract to use a slotted wage scale to build fast with current cap space. No veteran deal, 0-25.
Would you say this is Dolphin?
What?
Fusion said I'm wearing Dolphin blue.
I mean, out of all the colors,
I actually think, don't tell Texans fans. I actually think this is more of a Jags color.
I think Jags or Dolphins easily.
I will say though, this is not what I was wearing before I came into the studio, but it is freezing in here.
It's freezing.
Mitch's nips are almost shredding through Fernando as we speak.
Yeah, Fernando's shoulders right now are in pain. I'll say this again. It's actually a 4-year rookie contract, but if you're drafting a guy number one, you're hoping to get 5 years. I get like the 5th-year option. But here's the other thing: like if Mendoza's that guy, if he's that guy, you extend him as soon as you can. I think if he's that guy, you extend him after the 3rd year, and that's the hope. But I agree. Like when you're a team that's just so far away from being a Super Bowl contender, I think building it with a rookie quarterback and getting everything else around you, I personally think that's the way that makes the most sense.
Dude, Scott, I know you're laughing saying saying it's cold in Texas. We're about to have a huge cold front in the next couple of days, which
I mean, dude, right now in Dallas, actually it's not too bad right now.
No, it's not bad now. It's 55 now.
So next week,
it's
Saturday, high of 33, Sunday, high of 28. We're supposed to get like 5 to 8 inches of snow, which down here, that's going to shut down the entire city.
Which I am praying that the Raiders don't hire a head coach this week, because it is going to be a shitstorm for me and Mitch to get into the office.
I'll be fine. I walk.
I'm honestly probably today or tomorrow going to go to the store and stock up, because I might be stuck at my house for a couple days. That's how bad it gets here in Dallas.
The problem is there's no salt on the roads. Like I remember, this was probably like 4 years ago, I watched a man skate down Elm Street. Like ice skates, middle of the road, because what happens is nobody does anything with the snow. It's ice, it compacts. Like literally when I went out there, this was like right when I got Chuck, we went out on the road. It was so slick, it was so slippery, but I bet you there was probably 3 inches of ice on top of the road. Like I always underestimated how bad it gets down here, but nobody takes care of the road.
Braden says, knowing the Raiders, they'll 100% hire someone during a snowstorm.
See, to me, if you're the Raiders and you can't, like, if you want to interview certain people again, and I think that they want to interview Davis Webb again, I think they want to interview Clint Kubiak again. If you want to interview those guys again, you got to wait until January 28th.
And bread and butter, no, they don't salt the roads. That's the problem.
They don't salt the roads. They don't do anything with it. There's no people here to do it.
I've lived in Dallas for now about 10 years. I'll say this. Every single time there's ice on the road, guarantee there's a pileup on the highway. Like every time.
I hate to admit this, but it's the truth. There's a major highway we can look at outside our window here at Chat Sports. Every year, we'll sit there and we just watch cars get stuck. And it's not even like it's a slope. But, you know, if it snows and sleets for a whole day and nobody does anything with the roads, it just turns to ice. And then we just watch people try to get up this little hill.
Fusion says in Texas they pepper the roads. Cayenne.
From a denied walk-on in Miami to a walk-off natty in Miami, Mendoza madness. Scott Sterling for the win.
They told me about that last night.
Bro, the Scott Sterling thing, the legend, Scott Sterling. Well, the way that it got brought up is because Sterling kept banging. Shout out again to Mr. J. Rizzle. And I was so banged up last night. Yeah, I was doing okay. The way I compared it, Chugs, was like after my wedding. I don't know if you felt this way too. I mean, I drank quite a bit at my wedding, and I felt fine because my adrenaline was running. The moment I got back to my room with Alex, I felt like I was like, holy shit, I'm drunk. So like last night's game, as soon as the game was over, I was like, oh man, like I felt a lot more drunk as the game ended, and then we turned it into a shit show. And then, dude, I was so banged up last night. You guys can probably tell I'm still a little bit tired, a little bit hungover right now, but last night's show was unbelievable. Also, can you change the L3? I really miss Spillane. I miss Spillane too. Like I think trying to figure out a way to bring back Robert would have been a great thing, but again, I mean that's why people should listen to this show a little bit more, I guess. What do you think about Red Murdoch, linebacker, true sleeper? No idea.
Yeah, we have to do more draft prep.
Again, I have absolutely positively no idea. Dree Day, Mitch, thanks for all you do for the nation. In my humble opinion, Kubiak, Minter just scream coordinators to me. feel like Shula is the most well-rounded.
I love Shula too.
He's going to be the next head coach of the Steelers.
You think so?
Yes. He's going to be the next head coach of the Steelers.
Which I'm surprised that Miami didn't even wait to interview him because it's like
Shula.
It's Shula. Like, right? Like,
yeah, his grandfather's Don.
Unless they got inside info that he's not even interested in that job, which maybe he's not. I could see him being like, that was his dad, grandpa. He's like, I don't want to be in his shadow.
Sure.
But if you're the Dolphins, how do you not even like?
I agree with you. But based on our sources here at Chat Sports, there's a 0% chance Shula's coming to the Raiders. Shula's going to be the next head coach of the Steelers. So I hear you. I like Shula too. I mean, Shula was number 2 coach of mine. But like I get some of the fear of Kubiak and Minter. It's just like anything though. There's always fear. Where I like it is Kubiak, to me, that plan makes sense offensively. Minter, that plan makes sense based on what I think Spytek and Tom Brady are going to do. Mitch, do you think we're holding out for Kubiak potentially? Again, I'm not saying that I expected the Raiders hire Minter today, but I was ready for it if it did. And again, like I thought the Ejiro Evero interview would have happened first, and then the Jesse Minter interview. Like that's how it was conveyed to me. So the fact that Minter went first and Ejiro Evero is like the second one today. But I mean, if you're the Raiders, like you should want to interview Kubiak again. Like, I think that you should want to be able to go out and interview the guys that you need to interview. I think it makes a lot of sense.
We got to get to this next segment to get Mitch out of here. So we got to get into this. It's going to be a 2.0 Raiders mock draft 2.0.
In Milwaukee, they use kitty litter. That's how I know you're a real one. Kitty litter. My dad used to buy bags and bags of kitty litter. Bags. But that was more for my dad when I was growing up. He was in charge of keeping our Little League field together. So anytime it rained, I mean, people used to think my people probably thought my dad had 100 cats. We would buy gallons of kitty litter. I remember carrying in the wheelbarrow as a kid. All right, y'all. Let's get into this mock draft here on the program. Sorry, somebody just sent me something wild. I want to get into a mock draft here. And again, the way that I'm going to talk about a lot of these players is more so of like what the Raiders' needs are, why I am kind of going through my thought process of who I am selecting. Just reminder out there, any mock draft that you're going to see, my mock drafts are predicated on how I would do it. And if I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, I'm going to build the offensive line first. So I'll kind of explain all that coming up here. So we're going to do a Raiders mock draft. I got to do a duck race, and then we're going to do a Mendoza shirt raffle, and then we can hop on out of here today's show. Again, huge shout-out to each and every one of you that always tune in and pull up here on the Raiders Report. You ready to rock? Chugs is ready to rock. You guys ready to rock? Oh, let's rock out with our mocks out here on the show. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up, my Raiders mock draft 2.0. I wanted to be able to do this after the college football season ended. And to be very clear, the mock that you are going to see, I ran on PFF Simulator. Also, the way that I like to do my mock draft is, in my mind, the Raiders have already built their trenches in free agency. In my personal opinion, you can't draft a quarterback number 1 overall unless your offensive line is already solidified. So in my mind, the O-line has already been built. But if you're a Raider fan out there, you want more draft content, I'm going to try to get you guys more and more draft content out there. I'm going to try to get you more mock drafts. So hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. The mock that you're about to see is me. I'm going to walk through why I decided to pick the players that I did, but I'm really going to explain it more from a Raiders standpoint because we got a lot of needs. We got a lot of holes. I'm going to tell you how that person's going to fit with the players that we already have. So, with the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select, shocker, Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana. I am going to do mock drafts with Mendoza. Why? Because I want the Raiders to draft frickin' Mendoza. This guy's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's a national champion. I think he has everything that you're looking for from a franchise quarterback in terms of gotta have it up here. He was phenomenal against Alabama. Alabama blitzed him a season-high 12 times. 8 of 8, 161 yards, 3 touchdowns. Look at what he did against Oregon. I mean, you're talking about a dude that had more passing touchdowns than incompletions before the Natty up against Miami at Hard Rock Stadium, essentially a road game. The stats in the Natty weren't the best, but that 4th down and 5 play, it's determination, it's will, it's the definition of just win, baby. And let's face the facts here. We need a quarterback. Geno Smith will not be on this team next season. He's either going to demand to be out or the Raiders are just going to outright cut him. Kenny Pickett is a free agent. Aiden O'Connell is the only quarterback on this roster. So if you're the Las Vegas Raiders, not only do you need a quarterback as a starter, you're going to need some quarterback depth as well. So maybe, just maybe, wink, wink, you might see another quarterback drafted here in my mock draft. So the Silver and Black, John Spytek, Tom Brady have decided to go with Mendoza. But you guys already know, I'm a man that loves a good deal. I'm also a man that wants to be able to provide content. And I don't have a problem making content, even if I don't 100% agree with it, because I like making Raiders videos, and I want people to watch the Raiders Report to always be like, oh, like that's fun and interesting. And I feel like if I do a mock draft every single time, and it's always Mendoza number 1, it's kind of boring. So here's my deal to you. If this mock draft gets 2,000 likes, the next mock that I decide to do, my 3.0, I will trade the number 1 overall pick. If that's interesting to you, hit that like button. If you don't want me to ever trade the number 1 overall pick, then just type Mendoza down below. Let's go to the second round here. Pick 36 of my mock draft. I'm going to go with Akeem Messidor. Shout out to Darian Schofield. And I want to be able to address my edges because when I think about how much money the Raiders have in salary cap, I want to spend a lot of that money in the trenches on the offensive line. I would also like to be able to go out and add another receiver potentially, which means I don't know how much money we're going to be able to add to replace a guy like Malcolm Kuntz, and I want to be able to go out and find an edge. Messidor, the Miami Hurricanes, I would love to be able to get Ruben Bain. Obviously, that's not going to happen. He's going to be a top 5 pick. So I want to go out and get a dude who's got 10 sacks, 15 tackles for loss. He was incredible, and he showed up in that entire Hurricane defense, made life really difficult on Mendoza. And when you look at what the Raiders have right now from a depth chart standpoint, it's not all that good, right? You got a lot of free agents. You got some exclusive rights free agents. Malcolm Kuntz is going to be gone. Charles Snowden's going to be gone. Hopefully the Silver and Black convert Tyree Wilson to a 3-technique defensive tackle. We need some help. Crosby needs some help being able to get after the quarterback. And I believe Messidor is going to be a player that's going to help you pin your ears back, get north and south, and really replace Malcolm Kuntz. Let's go to third round here, pick 67. I'm going to go with cornerback D'Angelo Pons. And I remember the last mock that I did, I was kind of kicking myself in the ass that I let the cornerback spot go as far as it did. I would like for Las Vegas to be able to bring back Eric Stokes. He's my number 1 free agent that I would like this team to be able to re-sign. But for me, D'Angelo Pons, this is what's going to be interesting. He's 5'9", he's 170. I think he plays a lot bigger than his actual size, and he showed up big and clutch in the college football playoffs. I would wonder, though, how the Raiders would use him because we need a nickel. We also need an outside corner. But Pons' physicality, mental toughness, that mentality, again, it's very similar to Mendoza. I don't care how big I am, you're not going to beat me. And if you were able to put him in the nickel, I know that he didn't really play nickel at the Big Ten and at Indiana, but because we have certain needs, I would be interested to see if he would be able to take over the Darnay Holmes role, which I think anybody on the planet could take over the Darnay Holmes role. But being able to find that corner, like in my mind, if we re-signed Eric Stokes, had D'Angelo Pons, pair that with a Darian Porter, that's a really good young, sneaky cornerback room, in my personal opinion. Let's go to the fourth round here. Reminder, we have 3 picks in the fourth round. I'm going to go at pick 102, wide receiver from Clemson, Antonio Williams. And Williams is a speedster, but he also offers you a bunch of different things. And coming off a bad year at Clemson, I don't think Williams necessarily had a bad year. But look at his tape from last season. That's a guy that had double-digit touchdowns, was clearly more involved in the offense, and overall, Clemson was a better team last season than they were this year. But if you're the Raiders, I would still like for this organization to go out and get a guy like a Rashid Shaheed, go out and get a guy like Alec Pearson free agency, but you still need to be able to add some depth here to this roster. Tyler Lockett, gonzo. Alec Bachman, gonzo. The fact that it's Trey Tucker, Jack Besh, you add Antonio Williams in there as your wide receiver 3, but then also if you have that other wide receiver in free agency, that gives you more depth. I hope that Dante Thornton Jr. can figure it out. I would love for Thornton to be able to show me a little bit more growth. I just don't know if we can rely on Dante being a contributor right away because he's just not physically there. I just don't think the route tree's there yet, and I think Raider fans deep down do feel that. So if you go out and get an Alec Pierce, pair that with the Trey Tucker, pair that with the Jack Besh, Antonio Williams being your 4th wide receiver, a rookie, that's a good young receiver core to have, and it lets Dante Thornton Jr. develop a little bit. Though, Shedrick Jackson, if Dante ain't careful, Shedrick Jackson could absolutely pass him on the depth chart this past season. Let's go to another 4th-round pick here at 117. I'm going to go Tim Keenan III, defensive tackle from Alabama. We need some big boys on the interior, and Keenan is a big boy at 6'2", 320 pounds, 13 tackles. He's a space eater. That's what I want for my defensive tackle at this point in the 4th round. I need a space eater. Yes, we drafted Tonka Hemingway. Yes, we drafted J.J. Pegues last season, but we are also going to be without certain players. I'm hopeful that we can bring back a Thomas Booker. I would like for us to be able to do that because you traded away Ja'Cory and Bennett, but Adam Butler, he's in his lower 30s. John Olalu's an okay player. I just am trying to find ways to add extra interior depth because one of the things that I am concerned about is when you move on from Christian Wilkins, I don't know if we're going to be able to replace the defensive tackle spot because really it's like John Franklin Myers on the open market, and then there's not a lot of other really talented players, I would say, that play interior defensive line. So if you can't go out and get a big-name guy, you might have to be able to go out and get a bunch of bodies that you can throw in there on the interior. And if I want to dominate in the trenches, I want to make sure I got fresh legs. So I'm going to go with Tim Keenan III, a big boy who's going to eat up a lot of space, and then that helps you with your 2nd-round pick, Messidor, helps you with Max Crosby, and I think it just helps out some of these other players. Just stay fresh. Got to have the extra depth there on the interior. Coming up, my final 5 picks of my Raiders 2.0 mock draft. I'll be real. I actually like this mock more than the mock that I first did on this show, and I'm always an honest guy. Like, I'll do a mock, and there's sometimes I'll do a mock, and I'm like, I don't love it. But I'm still going to show you. I'm still going to talk to you about it. I'm still going to walk you through because I think it's important to see good mocks, bad mocks, all the mocks. If you're trying to rock out with your mock out, I'm going to be your guy. And also, if you're trying to rock out with Prize Picks, safe and secure. It's available in all 50 states. And with the big game right around the corner, now might be your last chance to get it going. Because with the season being this close to the end, Prize Picks, you can get started here by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. I'll be honest, my wife never really wanted to watch football. Then we started playing Prize Picks, and now she's talking to me about who she's putting in her lineup. I think it's exciting because that means I get to watch some more football, and she gets to root on certain players. But Prize Picks is simple to play. If my wife can do it, if my dad can do it, I promise you, you can do it. So easy, maybe a caveman could do it. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get your picks right, you can cash in. Get in on the action. It's available, again, in all 50 states. Also, Prize Picks now offers stacks, meaning that you can pick the same player up to 3 times in your lineup. Join millions of users. Join me. Join the Chat Sports team. Download the Prize Picks app today. Make sure that you use code CLNS to be able to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. That's code CLNS. You're able to get $50 in lineups after you get your first $5 lineup in there. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Let's keep it moving here at round 4, pick 134. I'm going to go with Jalen Stroman here, safety defensive back for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And I didn't love the players that were kind of in this realm. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's parts of me where I decided to not do trades in this mock, and that's kind of how I do it from time to time. I will do mock drafts with trades. But Jalen Stroman to me is a good depth piece, and I would look at him as kind of like your I don't know, like a Lonnie Johnson Jr. replacement, somebody that's not going to be overly impressive in the secondary, but a good special teams player year one. And for the Raiders, you have, again, so many holes that you need to fill. Offense, defense, special teams. You need to be able to have some players that you have confidence in that can help you on special teams. You got Jeremy Chin, you got Isaiah Paul-Amal. We still need a true free safety, and I think you might have to look at trying to get a true free safety in free agency. But Terrell Edmonds, gone. McCollum, gone. Lonnie Johnson Jr., gone. So when I look at a dude like Jalen Stroman, I'm sitting here going, I need to be able to replace the Edmonds. I need to be able to replace Lonnie Johnson Jr. So I want to find a guy that's got some playing time. He's not the better safety. The other safety from Notre Dame is definitely the better one. I can't think of his name right now. But add some special teams depth, add some safety depth, Jalen Stroman in the 4th round. Let's go now to the 5th round here at pick 174, and it's going to be Kyle Lewis, linebacker from Pittsburgh. And I want my linebackers to be able to do a multitude of different things, and that's kind of what this guy does. 6'1", 220 pounds, 79 tackles, 3 sacks. I think he did a much better job at covering than what he might get credit for, but you got to talk about the Raiders linebacker situation. Devin White's a free agent. Jamal Adams is a free agent. Landon Roberts is a free agent, right? John Rattington, special teamer, free agent. You got Tommy Eichenberg. You got Cody Lindenberg. Jamin Davis is also on your roster. But to me, we need linebacker depth. And if you watched my Raiders top free agent videos, you're going to see there's a certain linebacker that I want a lot. I would love to be able to get a Devin Lloyd. So in my mind, if I can spend some money on a Devin Lloyd, then I'll go a little bit cheaper on some of these other linebackers, like taking Kyle Lewis here in the 5th round out of Pitt. Just like Tommy Eichenberg, 5th round pick. Cody Lindenberg, 7th round pick. That's where I'm going to decide to go here. Let's go to the 6th round at pick 180. I'm going to go with another Indiana pick here. I'm going to go with Roman Hemby, running back. Hear me out. You're going to have to get another running back. That way Ashton Genty doesn't get ran into the ground. And I would look at Roman Hemby as kind of like our Zamir White replacement. And that physicality, I think, matches the type of offense that this team's going to run. If you're going to draft Mendoza, it's got to be a run-first offense. And Genty's going to be your main back. If, let's say, our backs get, 25 carries in a game, I want Genty to have 20 to 19, and I want Hemby to be somewhere around the 5 to 6 mark. But we got to be able to replace Mostert. We got to be able to replace Zamir White. Hell, I don't even know if I want to see Dylan Laube return. Chris Collier is basically a special teams player at the absolute best. But Roman Hemby brings that energy, brings that physicality. And the other really important thing is if you're going to be the back that comes in for Genty, got to have ball security. I think also having that connection, having that relationship with Fernando Mendoza is important. So at this point in the draft, I decided to go with a running back to be that thunder to Ashton Genty's thunder and lightning. Before I get into the final picks here in my mock, don't miss our Raiders Report meetup. Fairway Zone Sports Bar and Lounge in San Jose, California. Friday, February 6th from 7 to 10 p.m. If you want to call and leave a reservation, make sure you do that. If y'all show up, I'm down to stay a little bit later. Let's pack the joint. Let's have a hell of a time. It's an indoor and outdoor facility. It's going to be a party. So make sure you bring your drinking pants. Let's go to pick 183 here in the 6th round. I'm going to go with Nate. Borkircher. Hopefully I pronounced that one right. And he's a physical tight end out of Texas A&M. One of the things that I've talked about on this show is the NFL is a little bit of a copycat league. I think when you look at how much success the Los Angeles Rams have had in their 3 tight end sets, the Raiders have interviewed multiple offensive coaches, Nate Scheelhaase and Mike LaFleur. They're obviously interested in what the Rams are doing, and they should, right? Sean McVay is one of the best in the building. But you have Brock Bowers. You have Michael Mayer. Can you add that 3rd tight end that helps you run the football a little bit more? And with all due respect, Nate, I don't need you to catch many footballs. I need you to be a red zone option. I need you to be a blocker, and that's what he is. He is predominantly a blocker. So if we decide to do a lot of these 3 tight end sets, you put your one receiver out there wide. Hell, I might even be able to make an argument. Maybe you're going to put Brock Bowers out there wide with your 3 tight end set. I'm just looking for an extra blocker. You could think as Nate here is our Ian Thomas replacement. And then in the 7th round, I'm going to go with Illinois quarterback Luke Altmaier. Luke Altmaier from the Big Ten, 6'2", 205 pounds. The last draft that I did, I went with Jalen Green. I kind of like Jalen Green Taylor Green more from Arkansas, more than I like Altmaier, but I didn't want to do the same pick in back-to-back mocks. So the reason why we're going to go this route here is because you need another quarterback. And if you go out and you draft Mendoza, you have Aiden O'Connell, and then you add Altmaier, that's 3 quarterbacks that can kind of compete a little bit. Obviously, Altmaier is going to be the one that learns for many, many years. You have Mendoza and AOC, they're all learning together. But Altmaier is known as being a competitor. He's known as being a fiery guy. So if you had a player like that with Aiden O'Connell and Fernando Mendoza, that's a really competitive quarterback room. And I think Altmaier and AOC help Fernando Mendoza be the best version of himself. So let me know down below, y'all. What do you think about my Raiders offense, or what do you think of my Raiders NFL mock draft here? I saw offensive line down below. Again, the reason why I did not go with an offensive lineman is because in my mind, we invested in the O-line in free agency. And with Caleb Rogers, Charles Grant, I would like to be able to bring back a guy like Jordan Meredith. When I do these mocks, I do them with how I would also build in free agency. But hey, you can let me know. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade my mock draft down below. Raiders Shield family, what's going on, man? If we're going first-time young head coach, I'd go with Kubiak head coach, Webb at OC, then keep it in the house with Rob Leonard as defensive coordinator. Rob helps all the new staff. I like this one. I like this idea. I think this would be a good coaching staff overall. I'm seeing a pretty mixed bag in the mock draft game, which that's fine. Nav says D. I see Blinky's going to go with a B. Preston's going to go with a C. Very, very mixed A- from Michael.
Respectfully, I think any draft that has Mendoza, at least a C. Because you get your quarterback.
Well, that's why I thought it was funny. Nav Man was like, it's a D, but you get your franchise guy. I was like, to me, if you feel like you got your franchise guy, none of the other picks matter.
I mean, they do.
They do, but if you told me if Mendoza's right, none of the other picks
I think you
matter.
at least pass. Like, if you get Mendoza and the other picks suck, it's at least a 70 grade.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Scott said, don't like taking it. He took a tight end in the 6th. I'll say this. The biggest overrated thing is in mock drafts is looking at 6th and 7th round picks. Half the guys that you draft in the 6th and 7th round don't even make the team.
So the guys I'm looking in the 6th and 7th round is like, it's depth, right? Because I don't want to have to spend extra money on running back in free agency. I don't want to spend that money on a tight end in free agency. I don't want to spend that money on a quarterback in free agency. So in my mind, I'll draft those players, save the money. That way I can invest in offensive line, wide receiver, trenches, and free agency. That's my thought process. Darian, what's up, man? Yo, if we can score the first 2 rounds like this, it's a win. Think we're able to get Stokes and Woolen in free agency. I don't know if we'll get both. Sorry, hang on, y'all. My wife's texting me. She just hit me with, are you coming home soon? So I gotta wrap this thing up a little bit. Again, I was here really, really late last night. Happy wife, happy life. I think y'all understand. I think you'd have to pick one or the other, though, Darian. Because I think Stokes is going to get somewhere in that, like, $7 to $10 million range. I think Tariq Woolen could get paid. I think somebody could really pay Woolen. Remember last year when Trevon Merrick got his deal? We were all like, wow, that's a really big contract for Trevon Merrick. I wouldn't be shocked if a team offered Woolen that because of the upside he has. I'll say he's probably going to be in the $15, $16, $17 million per year range. And he's a really, really good player. Let's not get it twisted. I think Tariq Woolen's a hell of a player. But again, to me, if I'm going to spend 15 to 17, I want that 15 to 17 to be in the trenches. Where 15 to 17, 15 and above, trenches. Offensive line, defensive line, trenches. Got to be trenches. Where if I can spend a little bit less on a corner, I would actually prioritize Eric Stokes over Woolen because of the price tag and all of the needs that we have. What up, Hugh? When are we hiring a coach? Oh, man, I got no idea. I know it's a shitty answer. You might even call me an ass, Hugh, but it's the best answer I got for you. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
We're going to run these quick. Sorry, I got everybody in, so we will run this, and then we're going to do the duck race. So let's do it. This is for the Mendoza t-shirt. Reminder, if you don't win, It's all good because you can get the Mendoza t-shirt available now in the Chat Sports shop. We made a pretty little link for you, so it'd be easy. All you got to do, chatsports.com/Mendoza. Pretty easy to remember because he is the Raiders franchise quarterback now, presumably. But make it easy for you. I'll put it in the chat. Go to chatsports.com/Mendoza. And, Mitch, if you want to go ahead and give this wheel a little spin for me, then we can get it and go.
Poor Mendoza. He's going to throw up.
It's
It's like when you're a kid and you're on that thing that's just spins.
Goots!
Tristan Goots gets the Mendoza shirt. Mr. Tristan Goots with the Mendoza shirt. Tristan, are you here? Tristan, can you hear me?
Is it not the same Goots that goes in the duck races?
I don't think. I think Goots is Goots on YouTube.
Oh, well, no. This was his name that's in because they changed it to the username or whatever.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Either way, Tristan Goots, winner, chicken dinner.
Tristan, I just need you to be able to confirm that with me. I'm just going to put this down over here. Oh, we got so much stuff in this doc. Holy cow.
Yeah.
We're going to have to clear some space.
Somebody said, I need that shirt soon. It's available now. Chatsports.com/Mendoza.
Actually, we've had a bunch of people today buy them. We had a bunch of sales today. Shout out to y'all. I'm trying to delete some of these, so hang on. Boop. Okay, prizes. All right, so Tristan Goots, Mendoza shirt. Tristan, I hope that you see this. I hope that you can get your prize. Good luck. Good luck.
And got a smaller duck race today, but that means better chance for y'all to win some money.
Nabman, to be clear, anyone... I agree with Nabman here. Again, if anybody's going to bring other stuff into the equation, you're going to get bounced. And I say that only because, again, I hope the way that you talk in the chat, I hope is the same way you would talk, if you were in my house.
I said this the other day on my stream. If I was president, the number one thing that I would immediately enact, the first thing that I would put into law is that all your social medias have your actual name. No more fake accounts. I would force TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, no more fake accounts. You can have it, but it says your actual name next to it. So many people would become so less tough if you actually had to have your actual name online.
Again, we're a family after all here, and I think at the end of the day, the way that I want people to act in this show is if you wouldn't say it in front of my wife, if you wouldn't say it in front of my mom, if you wouldn't say it in front of my grandma, and again, we get crazy on the show, but at the end of the day, respect is the most important thing. ELE, ELE, ELE. So I'm going to refresh my phone here one more time to get in this duck race. Let me see if anybody else got in. Hang on.
It's real easy to talk when you're Plane Fighter 29995.
I don't know if that's actually somebody.
No, I just made that name up.
All right. I see Jason Sanchez, you're in. Vincent Ham, Rustin Long, Simon TG. $20 Venmo. You got the opportunity to go home with $110 here on the program. Though I do not want to do an Italian brain rot.
Okay.
All right. I don't know which one we're going with. A little Classico? Let's rock it.
Just for time's sake.
No, you're good. I appreciate that. All right, y'all. Good luck to all of y'all. If you didn't get in, I'll put you in the next duck race that I get in. Sorry, I don't want my wife to hate me.
Hugh Janus, we actually did show your super chat, though. When are we hiring a head coach? Mitch answered, we do not know.
Yeah. I guess I'm a little bit confused. We showed it. Just rewind a little bit. I got you, bro.
Here you go.
3, 2, 1, and let's get it going. Rustin Long. Oh, Phillip, sorry. I had the Fee-Eep Bogert. Fee-Eep. Sean Johnson. I mean, Fee-Eep right now has got the early lead. 93
God
and a half.
Family Raiders for life. You might have to send that one back because I think he got it in too late. Unless.
I mean, God Family, I'll put you in the next one, bro. You're always good for it, I know. So I don't. Yeah, I still don't see you, so sorry.
Angel says, been watching for years now. Love what you and Jugs do. Hey, appreciate that.
Appreciate that, dog. I mean, again, like, we love what we do. I think you got to be passionate about what you do. I think no matter what, you got to have a good time, and it's
Rustin?
It's all about it, dude.
Rustin?
It's gonna be a Rustin race. You can feel it.
By a nose.
Rustin Long. I mean, he's clearly the one that's sticking out the most here. Rustin Long with the win. Congrats to my guy Rustin. Congrats to you. Congrats to my guy Rustin Long. All right, let me look here at something.
Sean Johnson did get the butthole pick.
Ooh, Sean, you might be the biggest winner then. Sean, congrats, man. Congratulations to the biggest winner of them all. The legendary butthole pick.
Angel, that was your super chat. And then we have one more coming in from John Rodriguez. He said, Mitch, was Price from Notre Dame available? Price is way better than Himby.
I don't remember.
That's their second running back. In round 6, I would say it's up in the air.
To be honest with you, I don't remember. The running backs I remember I was debating between were the kid from Virginia Tech and then both the Hoosier running backs. Like those were the ones that I was really considering, but I wanted to go with a physical back because again, I think that this is going to be a very physical offense with Mendoza. So with Genty, he's your main guy. You bring in Hemby, he can be your number 2. And then, again, like you might have to be able to find another guy that can catch the ball because I don't know if I'm going to trust Dylan Laube. I'm sorry. Like I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. All right, y'all. I'm getting ready to hop on out here again. Greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all that tune into today's show. Appreciate, again, everyone that's gotten a Mendoza shirt. If you want to get a Mendoza shirt, if you want to get this one, it's chatsports.com/Mendoza. I think he's a Raider. I think a lot of people out there think he's a Raider.
Bagger 12, yep. We did see that article from ESPN that linked Kyler Murray, Tua, and Geno to the Jets. Hilarious, because last time Geno played for the Jets, one of his teammates punched him in the face.
Yeah, the last time Geno played with the Jets, I worked for the Jets. That's crazy. God Family Raiders, I don't have anything from you. I know you usually send me stuff, but I promise you I don't have anything from you. I don't have anything. I would not do that to you. I wouldn't do that to anybody. I promise you.
All right, Mitch has got to get out, so I'm going to go ahead and end the show because I'm not trying to get Mitch in any trouble. So there's the shirt, Raiders 15, our Mendoza shirt, chatsports.com/Mendoza. Mitch will be back, I don't know, Thursday?
I actually don't know when I'll be live again. I might try to go live later in the week. I actually don't even know my schedule.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I know I'll be live for the playoff games, but maybe Thursday live again.
Yeah.
Maybe Thursday live.
We'll see.
Peace out, y'all.
Have a good one.